Xiao, sign a contract with me. Su Xing extended his hand, his serious earnestness making Xiao quite startled. You are wishing for too much. Your servant is not the sort to demand you take responsibility for your servant's body. Humph. This body will return to Maiden Mountain sooner or later. Seeing as how you saved your servant once, treat it as your servant's recompense. Xiao raised the corner of her lips, boldly smiling. This isn't the reason. Su Xing was serious. I hope you and I can end the cycle of these star duels together. Xiao showed a dull expression. And the star duels, huh? Your servant is not interested in this kind of thing. You don't want to end the star duels? Su Xing was a bit surprised. He had always believed that the greatest wish for the star maidens caught in the star duels' karmic cycle was to end the star duels. Your servant only wishes to pursue martial arts up until death in battle. To engage the other sisters in this mutual slaughter. Your servant has no interest. So your servant will not sign a contract. If you wish to force a contract, your servant can only fight with all her might. Xiao's expression was immediately as savage as a beast's. Her words had not the slightest bit of jest. Su Xing and the other girls looked at each other. Evidently, they had not expected that daredevil third brother's determination to be so resolute. When it came to Su Xing's resolution to contract with Xiao, to say their intercourse was not a reason would be hypocritical. However, seeing Xiao so serious, the Su Xing who normally was not forceful was left speechless for a while. In his heart, he told himself that he could only find an opportunity later to change this beast woman's mind. And perhaps, after seeing the top-notch Lin Yingmei and Wuxia, they could perhaps convince her. Thinking of this, Su Xing could not compel her, but he would not yield in the slightest. Your weakness right now is because of this. Before you completely recover, you must remain at my side. Hey, are you treating your servant as some bookworm too weak to stand against the wind? Xiao said in annoyance. She wanted to push away Zhao Hanyan, but she could not muster the strength to move her body. She took a few steps only to stagger. Xiao, please do not make this difficult for my lord with your current condition. Hua Wanyua coldly said. The other sisters also tried to persuade her. Afterwards, it was still Dong Juanqing's perfect words of, if you follow around at this man's side, not only Lin Chong and Wu Song, you can even trade blows with the strongest Lu Junyi. This finally tamed the unyielding beast for now. Su Xing summoned the Bright Moon Longevity Palace to allow everyone rest. Su Xing entered the main hall of the Longevity Palace. Atop the cold moon quiet star bed, a young woman currently lay quietly. Her complexion was pale, her breathing weak. Above the girl was a bright, vermilion flame. This flame's shape was like a bird, extremely gorgeous. That fire element energy slowly entered the girl's body, battling the extreme cold inside her body. Extremely beautiful feathers slowly spread under Shiyu's body, intermittently visible. Zhao Hanyan stepped forward, saw the girl, and even she felt this was a beautiful scene. Soon, this clinging heaven vermilion Jian's soul would be completely absorbed into the girl's body. At that time, her strength would definitely receive a sharp boost, and luckily he was fine with it. Zhao Hanyan thought to herself, glancing at Su Xing, that should the same thing happen to her, would he be worried? The Lingyan princess could not help but laugh. That the princess of the renowned Great Liang dynasty would make someone worried was but a joke. Shiyu, is she still not recovered? Zhao Hanyan said softly. It's already been several days. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. And Suan had also finally left the star nest. The efficacious star had personally checked her pulse and prepared medicine. Even working with Tang Lianxin to absorb the clinging heaven vermilion Jian into the girl's body, but this was apparently unable to abate the remaining trace of Han Bing's cold magic energy in her body. The efficacious star and solitary star together are unable to dispel this? Just what is this Han Bing's true body, to be so overwhelming? Zhao Hanyan was perplexed. And Suan said that it may be that Han Bing has instilled a piece of her own soul into Shiyu's body. This piece is linked to the life of the person herself. So this is the reason it hasn't been dispelled. Zhao Hanyan's eyes narrowed. This means, we must kill her. Su Xing's tone was even colder than ice. Now, Zhao Hanyan's brows rose. Su Xing grunted. Further delays bode even worse for Shiyu. But to go kill Han Bing right now signified launching a war inside the domain of the White Tiger Demonkin that Li Taisui led. Furthermore, he did not have the support of Lin Yingmei and Wuxia at the moment. Zhao Hanyan's heart was shaken. Although she hated Li Taisui to the bone and wanted to take revenge, it was considerably difficult and dangerous in all regards at this time. Any smart Star Master would not provoke the White Tiger Demonkin in the White Tiger territory. I have my own plan, you don't need to worry. Su Xing seemed to have seen through her thinking and brought Zhao Hanyan into his embrace. The Lingyan princess blushed, and her heart immediately calmed. Little sister is extremely infatuated with you, Su Xing. How can this princess allow you to act heartless? I wouldn't, Su Xing muttered. Xiuxiu sat atop a jade platform in the bright moon longevity palace, the goose feather heavenly wolf squatting beside her. On one hand it was full of bewilderment towards the lively scene in front of it, but it fiercely guarded its weakened master. Xiuxiu drank large swigs of baijutongs as if dead drunk from her gourd. The rich flavor of every drop of wine sunk into her stomach, making every pore of her body intoxicated. While she watched the lowly brew wine, Mingyue drew her bow. The girl's cheeks were slightly flushed. Among the countless nights spent licking her wounds, Xiuxiu actually had thought of the appearance of Maiden Mutin's sisters all uniting. However, much of that imagination back then was a fleeting reflection. As for just how this scene came to be, Xiuxiu had no way to explain it. Watching the scene before her eyes, that instant, she had a sort of illusion of returning to that dream. This is not real. Xiuxiu, how can drinking alone not be boring? A voice pulled her back to reality. Extinguishing set down the gourd. She looked at the woman in front of her who carried charm in her allure, and who carried dignity in her charm. Dong Junqing, as a Five Tigers general, how did you become involved with him in the star duels? This general has taken him to her fancy. How is this for a reason? Dong Junqing laughed. She gestured, producing a porcelain cup. Xiuxiu twitched her lips and poured her some wine. Just who is Su Xing? Can it be he is unrelated to Li Taisui? Xiuxiu could not help but ask. You will understand soon enough if you sign a contract with him. Your servant will never sign a contract. Xiuxiu did not hesitate to answer. Such a stubborn woman will make a man very eager to conquer you. Little sister, this is truly a good idea. Dong Junqing teased. Xiuxiu paid no attention to her joke. Seeing that Dong Junqing did not want to answer about Su Xing, she did not purse the matter. He has so many star generals. Your servant feels signing a contract with him is boring. No good, no good, your servant is much better suited to independence. Extinguishing shook her head. She seemed a bit drunk. Only bandages covered the breasts of her otherwise exposed upper body. A pair of beautiful legs poked out from her short skirt, straight and slender. Dong Junqing licked her chapped lips. This drunken daredevil third brother actually had some special allure. You do not wish to sign a contract. This general is very approving of your methods. Oh, but this general is not worried at all that Su Xing's strength will once again increase by possessing you. Dong Junqing smiled. This general only wants to know, at the very end after scaling Maiden Mountain, just how Su Xing will deal with you. Will he kill you to ascend or will he force a contract and induct you into the harem? Regardless of which, both violate his norms. That time will be very wonderful. Xiuxiu was stunned, her drinking motion stopping for a moment. Dong Junqing's eyes flashed a bit of craftiness. She leaned forward, her voice smooth and soft. Little sister, how did it feel to have sex with a man? If you want to know, go do it yourself. Xiuxiu's face heated up, somewhat blanking out. This general has already done it with him, together with Princess. Xiuxiu was stunned. Suddenly, Dong Junqing kissed Xiuxiu's lips without warning. The steadfast star was already impatiently grabbing those plump breasts with her hands, kneading them. Xiuxiu's proud personality had already made Dong Junqing restless. Seeing that she had lost her virginity to Su Xing, her heart bloomed with a flower. Seizing the opportunity while Extinguishing was somewhat drunk and her body was still weak, she impatiently stole a savage kiss. Her tongue wound around, and Dong Junqing could not help but moan. Each and every one of the other sisters in the Bright Moon Longevity Palace were dumbstruck. Hua Wanyue did not hesitate to draw her bow. An arrow flew by, slipping cleanly past their foreheads, directly forcing Dong Junqing away. Xiuxiu returned to her senses and pushed Dong Junqing away in shock. Dong Junqing, what are you doing? Little sister Wanyue is truly a party pooper. Elder sister is waiting for you and Ingmei to give your bodies to Su Xing together. Dong Junqing was not satisfied yet. As expected of having trained in the White Tiger territory, your aggression is truly fierce enough to be arousing. Humph. Xiuxiu's brows drew together, and she said sternly, just wait until your servant's body recovers. Of course, once little sister's body recovers, Junqing will naturally keep you company with her body. Dong Junqing then said, a war of 300 bouts that is bound to make little sister wish she were dead. Fine. However, if little sister loses, how about you attend to Su Xing together with this general? Dong Junqing revealed her intentions. Unreasonable. Daredevil third brother, could it be you have no self-confidence? You have trained in the White Tiger territory. Dong Junqing used psychology with learned expertise. Sure, Xiuxiu was smart, but her blood boiled. Your servant agrees. If she lost to such a lewd Five Tigers great general, sure Yuxiu felt that she would be better off immediately starfalling. Very good. Very good what? Su Xing interjected. This general just happens to be inciting Xiuxiu to attend to you together alongside this general. Dong Junqing chuckled. Stop that, Junqing. Zhao Hanyan wrinkled her brows. Su Xing smiled, simply treating her as if she was being harassing. How is that girl? Dong Junqing then asked. Zhao Hanyan shook her head. Even the clinging heaven vermilion Jian's soul is powerless? Sure, Xiuxiu said in surprise. Su Xing, what are you preparing to do next? A four-word reply. An assault on Fengdu. White Tiger territory, the border. A golden qilin appeared in the sky. Several demon beasts sensed the golden qilin's presence, and immediately scuttled away in fear. Two women sat on the back of the qilin. One appeared as brilliant as a god, her figure clad in simple and elegant clothes. The other was of dignified bearing, lovely as water. Chai Ling, this place is the White Tiger territory. The mighty woman was none other than Strength Star Jade Qilin Lu Xiao. And yes, Chai Ling was clad in the moon-seizing star-taking magic weapon, dreamy as the stars, imposing and noble. This is honestly unlike the Azure Dragon. Lu Xiao shook her shoulders, feeling her body was somewhat heavy. For a time, she was somewhat unaccustomed. Lu Xiao, you are truly bold, to surprisingly want come to the White Tiger territory and see the White Tiger Star Masters. Are you not afraid that Li Taisui will slay you? Chai Ling gently smiled. After the Crystal Palace, Lu Xiao continuously used the 1,000-year tears to increase her star energy. Afterwards, she was not too satisfied and sought out the noble star Chai Ling of the Great Circle Castle. The Crystal Dragon Palace made Lu Xiao very curious about the White Tiger Territory's Star Masters, so she was very eager to come investigate the legendary White Tiger Territory. Just what were these White Tiger Territory Star Masters? As the head of the 108 Star Maidens Martial Force, if she did not come to the White Tiger Territory on behalf of the other sisters, how could she call herself an elder sister? For you to come to the White Tiger Territory, Chai Ling, are you not afraid of those demonkin coveting your red ink iron certificate? Lu Xiao said. With the Jade Qilin here, this palace is very safe. Shower is serious. Lu Xiao turned her head back to look at Chai Ling. Last time at the Crystal Dragon Palace, the White Tiger Territory's old man was somewhat defiant of the natural order. At the current stage, Lu Xiao herself was without a sure chance of victory against him, let alone that the old man surprisingly had a sister who was also of superb power. Shower is honestly, this palace dared come to the White Tiger Territory, and only naturally with preparations. Chai Ling slightly smiled. Shower is also warning you that when the time comes and there is something Shower cannot defeat, Shower will not run. Lu Xiao craftily winked. And the White Tiger Territory has the halberd-breaking heavy sand that Shower needs so much of to upgrade to a 5-star Qilin Lance. That is the reason Shower came. And Shower does not have much time to watch over you. This palace has people who care. There is no need for your extra gestures. Is that not so, Xinger? Chai Ling tenderly stroked the cat in her bosom, revealing a tender expression. Xiao rolled her eyes. Go Linner. Properly show the White Tiger territory your might. Look out! A sharp cry suddenly came from one of the White Tiger territory's sheer cliffs. A green light flew through the air. A grotesque-looking man stood in the air. His hand shook, and a sinister ghostly flame suddenly clawed out. In the ravine below, 2 girls were evading. Chuha careful. A girl dressed in blue palace robes rode atop a divine steed. She held a spear dancing about like flowing water with dragon scales, and waves rolling out from the spear. The other woman held a brush, quickly drawing in the air. Countless talisman scripts flashed and dimmed, exploding. Reckless Star Masters, you surprisingly dare seek trouble from me, Lord of 10 Words. This truly infuriates me. Today you will die here. The man swore. His skin was a dark green, covered in scale armor. This person was named Lord of 10 Words. His true body was that of a green monitor lizard. He had ruled this heart-devouring cliff for 100 years, and his cultivation had already reached supervoid middle stage. In a range of 100 li, he could be said to be the unmatched ruler. Today he had originally thought of training his ghost underworld fire. How could he have expected that several thieves would suddenly intrude? To say they were thieves was not completely accurate. They were actually very vibrant, that aura unlike a cultivator's, and they did not appear to be demonkin. Immediately, old demon she realized they were Star Masters. Owing to Maiden Mountain's prestige, old demon she originally did not want to bother with them, allowing these girls to leave. How could he have expected these girls to not recognize their good fortune, and instead dare challenge him? This made the Lord of 10 Words, who was used to getting his way, become enraged. A ghost underworld fire was activated, and he summoned a flock of demons from the cliffs. Immediately, they surrounded the girls. Although these star generals are powerful, with so many demons they have no way out. How about you obediently become this greatest lord's brides? This lord will help with your star duels, haha. The Lord of 10 Words said. Old demon, we have already spoken more than 10 words, yet you still have not killed us. Sikong Chuha sneered, her flying swords hovering around her, magic weapons and powers protecting her as well. The Lord of 10 Words was extremely angry. This girl's words mocked him. The reason why he was named the Lord of 10 Words was because he never wasted more than 10 words on small talk when he killed. This lord sees that you are pitiable, and you truly anger me. Today, I shall teach you a lesson on behalf of that Maiden Mountain. The Lord of 10 Words said angrily. Are you still worried about Maiden Mountain? This sort of man will never receive the love of a woman. Sikong Chuha provoked. Compared to her, the Su Yixiao who was reliant on Sikong Chuha was instead very grim, her forehead deeply wrinkled. The Lord of 10 Words roared. He saw that these 2 girls were not of very high cultivation, yet they dared provoke him like this. If he let them go, that would insult his standing as the Lord of Heart-Devouring Cliff. If he was unable to defeat them, that would truly be a joke. Suddenly he aroused his killing intent. Without saying another word, he shook his head, grew his claws, and slashed at Sikong Chuha's head. As for the Su Yixiao to the rear, the Lord of 10 Words saw that this girl was spry and graceful, beautiful and quiet, a gentle cuteness, so he actually did not wish to take her down first. This demonkin monster is powerful as expected. Sikong Chuha's heart sneered. Ever since they came to the White Tiger territory, she and Su Yixiao had finally forged the Heaven-Earth Shears. Today, they specifically wanted to test out this prehistoric spirit treasure's might. And another thought was to find out the strength of the White Tiger territory's demonkin. When she saw this old monster's claw approach, she hastily activated her swords. The sword light glowed, and a white serpent phantom flew out. A white dragon sword emerged. The sword light twisted, the white dragon overturned the sky, attacking the ghost underworld fire. Old demon Lord of 10 Words was still quite worried. The 2 of them dueled, using every magic. That demonkin true body's abilities emerged in succession. Sikong Chuha had cultivated for a dozen years, and she had been raised meticulously by the clan. Although her cultivation was not as profound as old demon 10 words, her magic weapons were impressive, and with the support of her flying swords, she could barely withstand this. Little girl, you surprisingly dared to challenge this lord. HM. Old demon 10 words saw that Sikong Chuha's cultivation had not yet reached supervoid stage. From the start, he did not place her in his eyes. When he saw that white dragon sword, he took a liking to it. A star general's weapons are mysterious. Ha! How can this lord maintain his name if he does not take it? As he thought this, old demon 10 words' power suddenly changed. His supervoid middle stage spiritual pressure abruptly pounced. Any low-level cultivator would inevitably have died. The Lord of 10 words felt his opponent should have realized his might, but at this moment Sikong Chuha seemed to have been planning for this. She showed a pleased sneer. Ishio, this is the moment. The two girls shouted. Before the Lord of 10 words could see what was happening, the two girls extended their arms. Immediately, his eyes were dazzled. A profound light was blinding. Though he wanted to clear his vision, old demon 10 words' view was blurred. He was shocked, and he immediately pulled back. However, he was already too late. That golden light was ferocious, splitting into two golden rays that twisted left and right. A crack seemed to be twisted open into the world. They were Heaven-Earth Shears. 1. Right arrow curving left 2. The Qilin right arrow curving left 3. Right arrow curving left 4. A pun on his name. Equals 10 while means word. Usually, means cross while, which he says here, means 10 letters/words. In the context of the story, the author is using the latter to mean the former, which leads to ambiguity. The Heaven-Earth Shears were so named for their spiritual power that moved heaven and earth. The Lord of 10 words applied his spiritual power pressure on the center of Sikong Chuha's chest. The moment he unleashed his spiritual power, he was just like a wide open door. Now old demon 10 words had nowhere to run. Sikong Chuha and Su Yixiao's minds moved, the two of them in perfect synchronization. In the world, golden light intersected, twisting up the Lord of 10 words from front and back. Ah, damn it, even as a ghost this lord will. Heaven and earth twisted, destroying the Lord of 10 words. This old monster that had killed his opponents before 10 words were uttered had in the end turned to ash before he himself had uttered 10 words. This could be said to be pitiful. Heart-devouring Cliff's demonkin immediately became terrified when they saw their leader die. The Grand Lord of 10 words was a supervoid middle stage that was surprisingly unable to face two whelps. These Star Masters were terrifying as expected. When they considered this, 10 words' army scattered, fleeing clean away. Yixiao. Literature sacred-handed scholar Xiao Qingyan was relieved. Su Yixiao's face wore an expression of contemplation. She beckoned. That golden light in the world separated into rays that fell into Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha's palms, forming halves of a dragon-shaped shear. It appeared ordinary, but Su Yixiao never imagined it would be surprisingly so powerful. At just the moment of attack, a supervoid middle stage cultivator was destroyed. However, the magic energy expenditure made Su Yixiao a bit unable to continue. Sikong Chuha concentrated on the half of the shears in her hand, her gaze heavy. At the corners of her eye were vague teardrops. She lowered her head so that Su Yixiao did not see. Chuha. Shan Ming'er dismounted and tenderly patted Sikong Chuha. Sikong Chuha grunted. She raised her head and showed a bright smile. Little sister Yixiao is truly bright. It is thanks to little sister that we easily took out this old demon 10 words. Not without this heaven-earth shear. Su Yixiao said. For even a supervoid middle stage to die instantly, those white tiger demonkin are nothing impressive. Little sister Yixiao, before the 3 heavenly books begin, and before the white tiger star masters expand their strength, how about we go investigate them? If we can find a chance to kill them, we will not need to fear them in the future star duels. Sikong Chuha stared at Su Yixiao, her expression warm, yet carrying a pressure that would not accept objections. Su Yixiao was somewhat troubled. The White Tiger territory was the demonkin sphere of influence, after all. The strength of that old man especially was simply terrifying. She did not believe this sneak attack trick could kill him. Of course, Sikong Chuha had her own considerations. That old man is indeed powerful, but there may be a chance with the others. These white tiger demon folk definitely have not anticipated our arrival in this territory, and have certainly relaxed their guard. With the combination of the Heaven-Earth Shears, we need only to each attack for there to be a very big chance. If there truly is danger, we have the Liangshan Jade pendants. Escape will not be an issue. Seeing that Su Yixiao was still hesitant, Sikong Chuha smiled and said, "Since we are in the star duels, little sister should be a courageous person. A bit of courage is a must." Su Yixiao and Xiao Qingyan looked at each other in dismay. The sacred-handed scholar shook her head. "Everything is by your will, Yixiao." Su Yixiao sighed, knowing that ever since Sikong Chuha's little sister had been killed by the demonkin, her heart had overflowed with hatred. She could see that just from looking at their use of the Heaven-Earth Shear in killing this demonkin, but she could not refuse Sikong Chuha's suggestion. Courage? Yes, why bother joining the star duels if she was afraid? Su Yixiao sighed in her heart. Her face wore a smiling face. "Then let us go look. Yixiao is very curious about this white tiger territory." Sikong Chuha showed a happy expression. "Chuha indeed did not make a mistake taking you in as a little sister. Let us first divide this old demon lord of 10 words things. There should be some excellent magic weapons and pills that can help us. And if only," Su Yixiao thought. Kaifeng, a tower of ice. Inside the tower, there was bone-chilling cold and thick frozen black ice. A young woman of icy beauty sat cross-legged in the tower. Blue light on her chest flickered like a flame. After a while, Hanbing slowly opened her eyes. Hanbing felt the beating blue heart in her chest. "Hanbing, you have been somewhat ill at ease recently." A lively and charming voice drifted in. The Ling Feishue currently outside the tower poked her head in. However, the inside of the tower was too cold. She could not bear it. Hanbing retracted her presence and expressionlessly walked out. "Are you worried about something?" Ling Feishue could sense Hanbing's unease. To be able to make the unsympathetic ice woman agitated, even worried, was a very unbelievable thing in Ling Feishue's perspective. Heaven-shaking thunder was also increasingly curious. "She is not dead." Hanbing's tone sank. Ling Feishue was first taken aback, and then she immediately realized her meaning. That star master that you struck with your terrified to the bone has not died? No way." Hanbing nodded. Her ice soul was placed into Shiyu at the same time as terrified to the bone. Splitting off her ice soul was already a drastic decrease to Hanbing's cultivation. But for the sake of guaranteeing that she killed the enemy, Hanbing showed no mercy. But she never imagined that she could still sense that remaining piece of her ice soul. Not only that, there was even an ancient clinging fire attempting to destroy her ice soul. If it was not for Hanbing unleashing her full power, perhaps it truly could be dispelled. That purple thunder monster is powerful, for even you're terrified to the bone to be surprisingly unable to kill. Ling Feishue was both envious and furious, her brilliant eyes full of indignation. "I have already isolated that clinging fire. In just a few more days, that monster will be unable to save his wife no matter how strong he is," Hanbing declared. Ling Feishue nearly wanted to say that this man showed deep devotion to his wife, to urge Hanbing to stop. Just as she was about to speak, she swallowed back her words. "Hanbing, Taisui has orders. The Liao Emperor has summoned us to the connecting heaven pagoda." Song Feng's voice came from far away. And Hanbing expressionlessly nodded. She soared and bounded towards the connecting heaven pagoda, instantly landing on the top. The Liao Emperor was still looking through her scroll. Taisui bowed to her, and then he turned to face Songfeng, Yifutu, Xian Lao, and Hanbing. "The Great King will open the heavenly sacrifices array. Soon, the 4 great demon kings will arrive, and the Great King has something for you to fulfill." "What is that?" Li Taisui glanced at the horizon, his smile profoundly mysterious. "Take down the 4 great demonkin." Other than the stone woman Xian Lao, even the ice woman Hanbing was slightly startled. "Take down the 4 great demonkin? Why, if they help our star duels, could we not easily defeat the purple thunder monster?" Songfeng was enormously confused. The White Tiger Territory's 4 great demonic kings were each supervoid peak cultivation. Provoking them without good cause was not very wise. How would those demonic kings ever raise a hand? Yifutu sneered. He had already seen through the White Tiger demonkin's nature. Each and every one of them loved to focus every fiber of their being into cultivating to transforming Star of Annihilation stage. They were unwilling to quarrel, much less retaliate. Even now, they had not interest at all in the star duels. Could this be related to the Great King's array? Han Bing's thoughts were meticulous, deducing the reason. Li Taisui smiled but was silent. Everyone was shocked, pale in the face. Just what array was this? To surprisingly require the magic energy of 4 peak cultivators. But to kill 4 peak cultivators they had no chance. At that time the Great King will provide assistance. Taisui's words made them feel some relief. Fellow Wonkong, is this Liao Emperor's power so great? The demonic king from the eastern Spirit Tai Mountain was a Taoist-looking fellow with his hair tied in a bun and his hands covered in dust, with a sword upon his back. His appearance was quite shady, but his power was nevertheless exceptional. And can it be that Liao Emperor truly wants to unify Liangshan continent? Revitalizing the might of Kaifeng? Haha, how interesting. The North's demonic king of the borderless sea was handsome in appearance. The last one was the Western demonic king, a beautiful woman dressed in colorful clothes and cap. At first glance, she was like a fairy. Her true body was a peacock, which was somewhat connected to the immortals. The 4 great demonic kings each secured an area, minding their own cultivation. Normally, they minded their own business and kept out of each other's way. If it was not for hearing from Woming Wonkong say that Liao Emperor could help them break through Supervoid Peak into transforming Star of Annihilation, they would have had not interest in dealing with this Liao Emperor, who once unified the White Tiger territory. This was dust in the wind. The demonkin had never felt nostalgia for it. Woming Wonkong nodded. That little girl appears somewhat weak, but her power is indeed profound. I saw she had many things upon her, especially that book of the Yellow Court, which I fear is a secret treasure of Star World. If we unite to kill her, there is no need to listen to her order. Great kings, this is also the reason Wonkong has summoned you all here. The great kings glanced at each other. They had ruled their territories for several hundred years. Naturally, they would not care for anyone else. But the Liao Emperor's fame was brilliant. She was a legend to the White Tiger Territory's demonkin, the person who established the outline of Kaifeng. The demonic kings were somewhat afraid. Woming Wonkong then said, "There is no need to worry, now that the Liao Emperor's left and right hands are absent. How can the 4 of us together fail to take down that Giller? We had better wait and see." The beautiful fairy hesitated. In the end, she still felt a bit of prudence, to first observe what abilities the Liao Emperor had, then decide on a course of action. If she was truly powerful and could help her break through to transforming Star of Annihilation, then there was no harm in listening to her orders. If this Liao Emperor was very weak, then the result did not need explaining. The other demonic kings felt that the Peacock Immortals' thinking was acceptable. They also were clever, afraid that Woming Wonkong was deliberately using them to do the dirty work. Woming Wonkong was quite displeased and quiet. He smiled and said, "Then fine. Everyone, let us together go pay a visit to the Liao Emperor." At this time, the great demonic kings were unaware that it was precisely because of this small hesitation that they missed their one chance to ascend. But by the time they realized it, they would have already become sacrifices for Yelü Wuxin's array. While Su Xing, Lu Junyi, Xikong Chuha, and Su Yixia were simultaneously moving on the White Tiger Territory's Fengdu, a similar woman riding a celestial fire beacon came to the skies over the White Tiger. That woman was dressed in a silk brocade and a pleated skirt. A little bell hung upon her white wrist, letting out distinct noises whenever her hand moved. Her face was beautiful without makeup, bright as silver. Her eyes were almond-shaped, a fresh cutie. What was most impressive were that girl's boots. They were unlike Liangshan continent's common riding boots. Those boots did not go above the kneecap, and their colors were different. One was completely black with golden edges accompanied by shining moon decorations. The other boot was completely white with blue borders, adorned with the motif of the sun. This sun and moon were already the peak of beauty. Several fairies pulsed around the boots, adding a level of charm to the girl. Is this place the White Tiger territory? The young girl looked into the distance, vaguely spotting a tower reaching into the heavens. Very much like Maiden Mountain. Imaging. Big Sis Qingxi said the White Tiger territory has sisters, but I wonder if that is true. I will go take a look then. Liked it. Su Xing was concerned about Shiyu's safety. It could not be helped that this was the White Tiger territory's domain, so they rushed through the night for Kaifeng. Along the way, he brainstormed how to draw out Han Bing and kill her. Su Xing was very clear that the more urgent things became, the more necessary it was for him to maintain his cool. If there was a direct confrontation, he simply was not Li Taisui's opponent right now. On the contrary, he would hurt Zhao Hanyan and the others. He was not without options. He could create a diversion to separate Li Taisui and Han Bing, then have Gong Sun Huang use her heaven rank to instantly kill. He would not be picky as long as he completed the objective. Su Xing was very clear that if Han Bing continued to live, they would completely be unable to kill her before the heavenly books. It would be best if the plan went without hitches. When they were about 100 li away from Kaifeng, the clouds in that direction suddenly surged. Purple chi rolled, a purple cloud east approaches. Su Xing halted their advance. He traded glances with Zhao Hanyan. His expression moved, and Su Xing escaped in that direction. Roar! A wretched shriek coldly reverberated in the sky. A purple dragon burst out of the purple clouds. It was none other than the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon, but its majesty seemed completely lost, as if it did not have its normal dragon chi. It seemed to be escaping from something in a panic. Behind the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon, a primal chaos approached, a net of lightning following close behind. When the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon saw Su Xing, it seemed to have found its savior and shouted, "Fellow, save me!" Woming Wangkong had been forced to show his true body, and he fled towards Su Xing in a panic. At this moment, the despairing Woming Wangkong saw the purple chi in Su Xing's hand and treated Su Xing as his savior. Of course, he was not expecting Su Xing's ability to save the situation. Woming Wangkong planned to use this man as a shield to help him escape. The primal chaos rolled closer. It seemed to trap the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon in a bog. No matter how Woming Wangkong struggled, he could not break free. Just as he was about to reach Su Xing, he suddenly heard a warm yet bone-chilling laugh. "Fellow, there is no need to run. Making contributions for the great king does not disgrace your name as a demonic king." The magnificent net of thunder and lightning pounced from behind and bound the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon. "Taisui, you traitor, may you die a terrible death." Woming Wangkong struggled. The primal chaos covered him, and Woming Wangkong was left with nowhere to run. With death at hand, Woming Wangkong suddenly roared, spitting purple light towards Su Xing. "Fellow, I implore you, avenge me." The primal chaos receded. Woming Wangkong had been devoured, and the skies returned to their normal brilliance, revealing a praying mat. It finally floated gently to an old man's hand. "Li Taisui." Su Xing's eyes narrowed, and his killing intent retracted. Li Taisui also saw Su Xing. He benevolently smiled. "Your Highness Purple Thunder, we meet again." Su Xing put on a fake smile. "It appears you are very busy, Li Taisui." Li Taisui laughed. He looked at Zhao Hanyan then back to Su Xing. "It appears that your Highness will not agree to this old man's request to unite and end these star duels? As long as you hand Han Bing over, I'll agree." Su Xing earnestly said. Li Taisui was very aware of what Han Bing had done. This old man cares not for her. "Senior Taisui, that is truly insincere." Su Xing sneered. "Purple Thunder Monster, you seem to be a bit unaware of your position." Li Taisui slightly smiled, not angered in the slightest. This old man has other matters and does not wish to move too much. Kaifeng is closed to visitors. This old man advises you go back. After the heavenly books, we shall settle our differences. In all likelihood, you will also have become this old man's opponent by then. Li Taisui spoke in a downplayed tone, the contempt in his words seemingly justified. Su Xing was not angry either. This is precisely the time. Woming Wangkong has done something stupid. Li Taisui saw that demonic pellet in Su Xing's hand. Not saying anything more, he turned and flew towards Kaifeng, no longer bothering about Su Xing. Su Xing looked at the pearl in his hand. This was the demonic pellet of the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon. And his heart felt great surprise. A demonic pellet was a demon beast's life-cast item. Su Xing could sense that purple-scaled magic cloud dragon's cultivation was exceptional. It should have been an outstanding character in the White Tiger territory. But from the movements just now, Li Taisui had surprisingly killed him. Just what was the White Tiger territory doing? Su Xing could not fathom this. Zhao Hanyan was also very confused. Internecine strife among the demonkin was honestly strange. It seems the Liao Emperor is messing with some array. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Master, shall we go now? Yin Yizhen asked. Of course we go. How can we let them do as they please? Su Xing sneered. He unceremoniously ingested this purple-scaled magic cloud dragon's demonic pellet. The purple-scaled magic cloud dragon was a purple chi dragon. It would be enormously beneficial for cultivating the purple star transforming chi. Thinking about it, this had to be the reason that Woming Wangkong would force himself to offer up his own demonic pellet. This seemed to indeed be a desperate measure. I'll avenge you then. Su Xing muttered and waved his hand. A thick black mist parted to reveal a sinister monster. Even Zhao Hanyan wrinkled her brows when she saw it. This time, Su Xing would not hold back whatsoever. Ghost Cavalry King, soon you will go kill Han Bing. Su Xing said. The Ghost Cavalry King cackled. Are you finally willing to release this king? Insignificant demonkin. Watch how this king's attack leaves not a single piece of armor left. Hanyan careful. Su Xing ordered. Junqing you too. Zhao Hanyan and Dong Junqing nodded and smiled. Li Taisui descended into the connecting heaven pagoda. His praying mat turned and shook out the purple-scaled magic cloud dragon. In the array, there were also a great bright peacock, an ocean yiksha dragon and a pale tiger. No one could have guessed these 4 demon beasts were the hegemons of the White Tiger territory from a few hours ago. In an instant, they had now become sacrifices. The 4 great demonkin were indeed powerful, making Yi Futu and the others waste much of their energy. Even with the help of the Liao Emperor and their star generals, they barely managed to kill 4 ambushed demonic kings. However, that purple-scaled magic cloud dragon had already been prepared to run. Fortunately, Li Taisui immediately retrieved it. Why are you doing this? The great bright peacock was at death's door, shuddering as she asked. Do you not wish to enter transforming star of annihilation? Yelü Wuxin calmly closed her book, leisurely saying. Then this king shall help you fulfill this wish. Soon you can see Star World. Roar! Has that man come? Yelü Wuxin turned her head to gaze at the horizon. You stand guard. This king requires time to open the array. No one is to disturb me. Yelü Wuxin issued her orders and immediately beckoned with her hands. She changed and the light of the array shot into the sky. The 4 supervoid peak demon beasts were immediately absorbed into the array. Powerful magic energy endlessly poured into the formation. Seeing her use the 4 top-notch cultivators' magic energy as sacrifices to the array, Songfeng and the others were somewhat terrified. Li Taisui turned his head and descended the connecting heaven tower, beginning to issue his commands. This man came at the perfect time. Today, I shall star duel with him to the death here. Han Bing's tone showed some rare ripples. Zijin. Li Taisui cast a glance at her. Young Zijin gently nodded. One hand gripped the hilt of her blade. Her face was as a dry well, without activity. Protect the great king. Do not allow anyone to enter Kaifeng. Kill all violators. Li Taisui gave the execution order. As you command. As they spoke, a 10,000 li god-killing arrow shot towards the Liao Emperor. Xiang Nongmei's hands were quick. 10 hidden weapons activated, blocking the 10,000 god-killing arrow, but arrow after arrow flew over from the horizon. Little Li Guanghuarong. 8-armed Neza Xiang Nongmei's hidden weapons were extremely quick, shooting out like black lotuses. The weapons endlessly intercepted the incoming arrows. This truly intolerable bullying, to surprisingly break ground above Taisui. Songfeng's expression was very unsightly. Li Taisui calmly smiled. Do not be distracted by this purple thunder monster. This monster is very crafty, not easy to handle. Xian Lao, you stay here and protect the great king. The rest guard other locations, so as to avoid his diversions. Hanbing. Li Taisui looked at the ice woman. What are your orders, Taisui? Li Taisui smiled very warmly. Follow this old man to meet this purple thunder monster together. Hanbing nodded somewhat excitedly. Li Taisui's gesture was somewhat malevolent. He knew that the one Sushing wanted to kill the most was Hanbing. Li Taisui would not let this purple thunder monster do as he pleased. He placed Hanbing at his side to bolster his fighting strength on the one hand, but also to divert Sushing's attention on the other. A bolt of purple thunder slammed down. Without even looking, Li Taisui slapped this purple thunder apart with his paper fan. Purple clouds rolled like dragons and beasts, expanding. Sushing, Gongsun Huang, Zhao Hanyan Dong Junqing, and Yan Yizhen appeared above the purple clouds. Spotting Hanbing, Sushing's eyes narrowed. He thought to himself that this old man was indeed cruel. Everything had been planned very precisely. In all of the star duels, Sushing's battle formation could not be said to be not stunning, but against Li Taisui and Yang Ziaijin, this nevertheless had no chance of winning. Little Huang, charge your heaven rank. Sushing secretly ordered. Dragon in the clouds nodded. Using a heaven rank was not as simple using an earth, dark, or yellow rank. It required some time to prepare, requiring a star master's protection. Sushing knew that this old man Li Taisui's abilities were exceptionally abnormal. Sushing preemptively decided to settle things using Gongsun Juqing's heaven rank. Sushing and Yang Zijin's eyes carelessly locked. The expression of the latter was somewhat twinkling, a seemingly aged appearance. Purple Thunder Monster, you truly are bold. This place is the White Tiger territory. You surprisingly dare to be so arrogant. Do you think that you are unrivaled under heaven with Lin Chong and Wu Song? Ling Feishue straddled poor Thunderclap. She shouted, aiming her flickering silent destruction star meteor cannons at Sushing. Don't waste your breath. Sushing's hand pointed. 12 golden rainbows shot out. At the same time, his left hand pushed, and a continuous purple cloud moved. Simultaneously, Sushing used the chaotic tail escape, rushing for Hanbing faster than Yan Yizhen and the others. But a beast's sense of smell was even faster. Yang Zijin's expression turned stern, her half-bestial birthmark revealed. Although she was somewhat favorable towards Sushing, as Li Taisui's star general, Yang Zijin would not show mercy. You have made Zijin very disappointed. The woman softly said. She drew her saber. Tooth extraction. But just when Yang Zijin was certain she killed Sushing, she suddenly spotted Sushing's smile. What is happening? An incoming rainbow arrow, answered blue-faced beast. A 7-colored rainbow trailed that arrow, expanding in all directions. It left Yang Zijin's saber and Ling Feishue's cannons helpless. Blue-faced beast's pupils shrunk. She saw far off in the distance the figure of a graceful woman. Sun-piercing heavenly rainbow. This is bad. Yang Zijin was startled for the first time. The two great martial generals Yan Yizhen and Dong Junqing exploited the sun-piercing heavenly rainbow to take Li Taisui's head. Swallow flash samsara. Yin Yang cross slash. Liked it. Kaifeng, the Longevity Palace 1,000 li away. Rat Star by Yutong was currently peacefully sleeping in Tang Lianxin's bosom. The little lowly's face was a bit pale. She had exhausted herself to finally brew a cup of Earth rank wine. Jade Lake Moon Dew. For other Earth rank, a couple uses of an Earth rank would not be anything noteworthy, but this made the lowly tired to death. She was like a little kitten snuggled against Tang Lianxin. Even the shy gold coin-spotted leopard could not help but show pity. Originally, Bai Yutong should have been in Sushing's star nest, but so as to not affect Sushing's battle, she stayed at the Longevity Palace with Tang Lianxin and Shi Yuan looking after her. I never imagined there would surprisingly be such a tiny little sister among us. Shi Xiuxiu glanced at the dreaming Bai Yutong, showing a sad smile. Tang Lianxin did not say anything, but But she turned to stare at Daredevil third brother. Do you hate elder brother? The solitary star expressionlessly asked. Elder brother, Xiao was surprised. Each of you call him different things. If your servant hated him, then your servant would spare no effort to kill him. Tang Lianxin nodded, apparently at ease with this answer. Xiao then asked how they came to know Su Xing. With so many star generals, it was hard for a person to not be curious. Even a fanatical battle maniac, so strongly attached to martial arts, was no exception. Apparently, only when they discussed her elder brother did the solitary star's apathetic eyes show a glint. Xiao could see that she truly loved her elder brother. Your servant is impressed with that man's righteousness, but in the star duels, there will be a time that hurts him. Xiao took a deep breath. Tang Lianxin shot her an ice-cold glare. Take what is happening right now for example. Xiao shook her head. Your servant feels he is too naive. This place is the White Tiger territory, the domain of the Demonkin. Su Xing wants to kill Han Bing, but that Li Taisui is impossible to fight against with his power. If he had Lin Chong Wu Song or some other wife, perhaps he would have some hope, but with his current strength he will pay a price. To be able to make the formidable martial artist Daredevil third brother utter this kind of declaration. It was obvious that Li Taisui was a terrifying monster in her mind. In actuality, Xiao had not traded blows directly with Li Taisui more than a few times. By her martial general's instincts, she could sense that man's terrifying power the times that they did meet. Although it was somewhat embarrassing to say aloud, Xiao has fled from Li Taisui more than once. As far as Daredevil third brother was concerned, this was a disgrace. That Shiyu is only a star master, right? He can brave fire and water for her sake right now, but the star duels can only have one overlord at the end. As for ending the star duels, your servant does not believe it. Xiao twitched her lips. Xiao, you are wrong. Su Xing will end the star duels for sure. Shi Yuan trotted over. When she heard Xiao's words, she strongly disapproved. Su Xing is the best star master I've ever seen. You just don't know how we got to this point. You do not have the qualifications to talk about Su Xing like this. Shi Yuan said unhappily. Even without big sister Ingmei, Su Xing will definitely save Shiyu. The corner of Xiao's mouth slightly curved. She nodded in approval and sipped her wine. She leisurely said, then your servant wishes that you can get past this point as well. Humph. Outside Kaifeng City, purple clouds billowed, and thunder rolled. Li Taisui held the fan in his hand as he danced in the air. His movements were easy and smooth, each and every movement in complete unity with the world, impeccable. Hua Wanyue's arrow fired, and they erased as easily as brushstrokes because of the airflow from the paper fan. Su Xing knew this old man was very defiant of the natural order. He had made psychological preparations, but he was still astonished. Using the cover of Hua Wanyue's sun-piercing heavenly rainbow, everyone avoided Yang Zijin and mounted a direct assault on Li Taisui. Even if they did not kill him, they would at least be able to make him feel a bit of difficulty, to show a gap, but this was unimaginable. Li Taisui used his paper fan to catch Yan Yizhen's Swallowflash Samsara. Against Dong Juanqing's Yin-Yang cross-slash, he gently waved, and a clap of thunder broke it. Then Yan Yizhen used the dark rank snapped bowstring Magnolia Lily Ballad that could dispel an opponent's powers, yet that, too, was easily broken by the old man. Unbelievable. Two powerful martial force star generals working together were surprisingly unable to so much as touch him. Instead, they were being suppressed. Su Xing cast a glance to see Zhao Hanyan currently battling Han Bing and Ling Feixue. The Lingyan princess used her 100 Outer Void Flying Immortals swords to equally match against Han Bing and Ling Feixue. Kaifeng City, Heavenly Sacrifice Pagoda's spiritual power skyrocketed, as if it was about to rend the heavens. Who knew what that array was? In brief, it felt very much like the boss from a game. Su Xing wanted to blitz through the battle, yet Li Taisui was unexpectedly bogging down his progress. Zing! Kill them! Li Taisui waved his fan. The sound of thunder blasted. Yang Zijin attacked Su Xing. Yan Yizhen and Dong Junqing obstructed her. Little sister's ruthlessness is honestly making Junqing aroused on. How about you tussle with this general? Dong Junqing teased. The two spears in her hands did not hesitate to slash. It was a dark rank. Yang Zijin drew her blade. The collision of the weapons produced intense sparks, but just by relying on her powerful martial arts, Yang Zijin stopped Dong Junqing's dark technique. The steadfast star's expression was somewhat unsightly. Yang Zijin flashed away, turned a half-step, and sliced in an extremely beautiful arc, forcing Dong Junqing back. Blue-faced beast advanced, but skillful star Yan Yizhen had already moved to intercept. The yin-yang carp swam around her palms. Her left hand was a chilling icy frost while her right hand was a scorching flame. Yin and yang intersected, and the area around Yan Yizhen seemed to bend to her will. Yan Yizhen shouted. The maid's apathetic vermilion eyes reflected the swimming yin-yang carps. These carps seemed to come to life, growing behind the skillful star. In an instant, the frost and flame spread out, covering Yan Yizhen. The maid's figure immediately proceeded with exquisite boxing. Dark rank boxing. 9 yang life and death. The power of her fists launched towards Yang Zijin. Blue-faced beast's pupils contracted. The beast used her strongest draw to intercept. Dark saber technique. Heavenly dragon dancing. Yan Yizhen's 9 yang life and death boxing was unmatched. Each punch shook space. Yin and yang flashed, not giving the target any room to escape. Yang Zijin's martial arts were very valiant. The saber chi of the dark rank saber technique Heavenly Dragon Dancing poured down like a storm. Relying on her superb realm and the sacrifice of her star beast, Yang Zijin intercepted Yan Yizhen's earth rank. Even the cold and detached maid could not help show surprise at this. Yang Zijin's sword stabbed. The extreme vast blue emperor saber sunk into little Yi's body like a fong. The woman spun again, and her saber technique and footwork combined. The little Yi who had just used her earth rank could not withstand this attack. Yang Zijin had wanted to dispatch the skillful star with another attack, but she was repelled by Hua Wanyue's arrow. However, the skillful star was heavily injured, so Yang Zijin paid her no further attention, rushing straight for Su Xing. When Su Xing, who had been engaged in battle against Li Taisui's thunder, saw this, his divine intent moved. The 12 heaven tearing drew a golden rainbow as they twisted towards Yang Zijin. This general shall take you on. Dong Junqing shouted, her dragon phoenix in yang spears crying. Yang Zijin was somewhat surprised that she would not go protect her own star master, but blue-faced beast kept her composure, instantly drawing her blade. Clang! Snow-white saber light fell towards Dong Junqing's chest. What swift speed! Dong Junqing evaded the attack, slashing back with her spears. Yang Zijin nimbly leapt away past the spears. The chilling beast slashed behind her without even looking. Another bloody wound appeared on Dong Junqing's back. Dong Junqing never imagined this blue-faced beast would be so superior in martial arts. She herself was surprisingly unable to keep up with her attack speed. Immediately, Dong Junqing's embarrassment turned into fury. Junqing, calm down. And Suwen's concerned voice came over. The divine physician pointed her hand and used earth rank. Heart like still water. The heart like still water that could resist illusion could also simultaneously boost a star general's realm, making a star general maintain absolute calm during battle. As expected, Dong Junqing's impulsive mind immediately became more calm than a lake. Yang Zijin's movements did not seem so quick. Do not run. Dong Junqing gave chase. Yang Zijin's target was Su Xing. The beast that had bared her true fangs would not be stopped. Hua Wanyue's arrow volleys became increasingly concentrated, but she was unable to intercept. At this time, Su Xing used the purple star transforming chi and the purple mansion immortal thunder to stalemate against Li Taisui. Everyone was aware that a star master had become the greatest weakness. But Li Taisui's powers were honestly too defiant of the natural order, and he also had the blue-faced beast's innate skill. Treasure Blade is ageless. It could be said that his strength was arrogant across all of Liangshan continent. Even a star general would be hard-pressed. Heaven Tearing was unable to obstruct Yang Zijin's approaching attack. Just as she was about to draw near Su Xing, an arrow suddenly pierced out of Su Xing's chest and shot towards Yang Zijin. Blue-faced beast tilted her head, and the arrow grazed past her cheek. The blue-faced beast then shifted. The extreme vast blue Emperor saber hacked a cold saber chi. Bang! Hua Wanyue gave up on archery and swapped to the red jade star-splitting short spear to defend in front of Su Xing. Do not think you can hurt milord. Hua Wanyue's spearmanship was exceptional, and she used a howling and bloody dance. Although the hero star was known as the absolute in bow and spear, compared to blue-faced beast, her close combat was clearly very deficient. Saber chi flowed over her whole body, and Hua Wanyue could only barely respond. Her short spear was completely unable to contend against the 5-star blue Emperor saber. In terms of weapons, the dominant Yang Zijin did not waste time in showing Hua Wanyue up. But Hua Wanyue grit her teeth and stubbornly refused to retreat. At this moment, Dong Junqing also caught up from behind. The steadfast star's pincer attack with Hua Wanyue formed a perfect combination, sealing any escape route. Yang Zijin's eyes flashed a careless admiration, but she acted without mercy. Her figure crouched, and her power surged. Dragon fangs spread in all directions, and her attack became a dance. Heavenly dragon dancing. Bang! Yang Zijin was honestly too powerful. Hua Wanyue and Dong Junqing together were surprisingly repelled. Su Xing was unable to sit by and watch. He spat essence blood and grabbed the dragon sparrow vermilion Dulong saber. With an escape technique, he carried Hua Wanyue away, while Ensuin healed Dong Junqing. "Milord, be careful. This Yang Ji is very strong." The graceful woman was already showing injuries all over. Su Xing was distressed to see this. He stared at Yang Zijin, not daring to be neglectful. Yang Zijin was just about to continue when suddenly, she stopped and directed her gaze to Gongsun Huang. At this moment, Leisure Star Dragon in the clouds finally opened the Heaven Rank runestone. An indescribable sense of danger overwhelmed even Yang Zijin. Heaven Rank. Torch Dragon Extinguishing. Black Turtle Territory. Jinping Mei Waterfort. All of a sudden the countertop shook. The Ruan mayor, currently reading a picture book, showed a quizzical expression. "Lady Fort Master, come quickly." A Waterfort disciple urgently came to deliver a message. The Ruan Jiner, who had her cultivation of the Hell Illusion Death Butterfly Sword interrupted, disdainfully rose. And Ruan mayor curiously followed along. Outside the Waterfort, countless disciples had raised their heads, gazing in a far-off direction. Across the bottomless Black Turtle Sea, they could vaguely glimpse a divine dragon rushing into the clouds, and then it vanished from sight. From the aura it emitted, it was surprisingly able to shake the entire Black Turtle Territory's seas. Impossible heaven rank. Juan Jiner was flabbergasted. Devil Star Palace. Headmaster says that is in the direction of the White Tiger Territory. Outside the Devil Star Palace, Elder Dried Bone narrowed his eyes. Su Xingxiang was astonished. What is happening in the White Tiger Territory to surprisingly manifest a heaven rank? Can it be that Liao Emperor is causing another commotion? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons' face was gloomy, his eyes showing a near imperceptible glint. Li Xiangfei and Fan Ming glanced at one another, each of their expressions somewhat unsightly. For a heaven rank to surprisingly appear before the 3 heavenly books, this honestly was unnatural. "Lord Husband, shall we go take a look?" Su Xingxiang charmingly smiled. "That old man from the White Tiger Territory is unfathomable. We had better monitor the situation calmly. This Holy Lord can sense that the Purple Thunder Monster and those demonkin are locked in a life and death battle. We shall be the fisherman that catches the clam and the snipe." Although the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was very indignant that he was unable to personally kill Su Xing to vent his anger, he knew that a true loner had no chance of victory in the star duels. Regardless of what was happening in the White Tiger Territory, for a heaven rank to appear, the most worrisome person should be the Purple Thunder Monster. And how could the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon have known that the user of the heaven rank technique was none other than Su Xing himself? Lowly Servant thought that perhaps the Purple Thunder Monster is currently in a star duel with the Demonkin. Is Lord Husband really not going to look? Perhaps we can take a part. Su Xingxiang surmised. Impossible. The Purple Thunder Monster is acutely aware that the White Tiger Territory's Star Masters are collaborating with the Liao Emperor. Did he go to the White Tiger Territory to die? Even if he had something in the White Tiger territory, he would not be stupid enough to go star duel the Demonkin. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons scoffed. His thinking was not wrong. From what happened in the Crystal Dragon Palace, the head of the White Tiger, Li Taisui, possessed the #1 magic weapon in Liangshan continent, as well as the strongest martial general of this generation. No one would think to star duel such a frightening enemy on their home turf. Even if they were mortal enemies like fire and water, that would have to wait until after they bolstered their strength in the heavenly books. Su Xingxiang, the heavenly books will begin in several days. We should prepare for this first. Have you truly not considered advancing dual cultivation? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon sneered. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had originally thought to exploit Su Xingxiang's dual cultivation to increase his strength, but he did not know how she was able to convince Devil Ancestor Dark Nether to change his ideas, to alter his plan for their dual cultivation. They changed to each of them training a set of yin-yang mystifying qi that complemented each other. Because the yin-yang mystifying qi required sharing magic energy, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon that originally possessed the absolute advantage in magic energy had no choice but to contribute a portion of his magic energy to Su Xingxiang. By doing so, the both of them broke through to Super Void early stage on the same level, making the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's heart very vexed. Lord Husband, lowly servant is making preparations and hopes Lord Husband understands. Su Xingxiang respectfully said. The Holy Lord of Draconic snorted, but sneered. All of the star generals could perceive this power. At this moment, 3 territories were shaken together. Just as Shears was chatting with Tang Lianxin, all of a sudden, the entire Bright Moon Longevity Palace shook violently. Immediately, Tang Lianxin's expression changed. The Longevity Palace was a deep-rooted treasure. Normal attacks were unable to so much as jolt the Longevity Palace, but now, the intense wobbling of the Longevity Palace was unprecedented. Bai Yutong was immediately shaken awake. The little lowly opened her bleary eyes, squinting. What is that? Shi Yuan gazed 1,000 li away. The sky in that faraway direction had become muddled, practically cleaving this world, deep as the abyss. Then a gigantic, mountain-like dragon emerged from out of thin air. That divine dragon was so grand, brimming from head to tail with an inviolable, absolute dignity. Liangshan continent's dragons were simply as ridiculous as mudfish in its presence. Even from 1,000 li away, Shi Yuan was awestruck by the body of this enormous dragon. The White Tiger territory was in hysteria. Countless beasts fled, howled, and scattered in terror in all directions. Just its aura was enough to make the White Tiger's proud demonkin bolt away. That is the Leisure Star's heaven rank. Shi sensed a star general's presence. Elder brother is using Gong Sunjuqing's heaven rank so soon. Tang Lianxin's brow locked tight. Ha ha, that old fart's dead for sure. What do you say, will Wu Hui blame us? Shi Yuan giggled, greatly relaxing. Now that the heaven rank appeared, no one should be able to face them, right? It was only after the 3 heavenly books that a star general could raise their realm high enough to withstand a heaven rank, but right now there were no heavenly books. It was at this time that a heaven rank had no equal. However, Yuana was unaware that Gong Sunjuqing's heaven rank runestone was consuming vast amounts of star energy. This was also supposed to have brought about a situation where the twin assassins of Xuan Lefei were dispatched without even a chance to retaliate. It is still too early to be happy. Shi paused and then continued to drink wine. The divine dragon that lived only in myth was summoned by Gong Sun Huang. Not only was Su Xing flabbergasted, even Li Taisui and the others were dumbstruck. Heaven rank. Li Taisui's eyes were grim. A dragon's roar blew away the White Dragon territory's forest and seas. The earth trembled, and the ancient torch dragon displayed its powerful might, opening its jaws. It seems you have received many a favor, purple thunder monster. Not bad. Only with this do you have the qualifications to battle this old man. Li Taisui was not afraid. His expression facing the torch dragon's extinguishing made Su Xing's hair stand on end. Just what was the background of this old man? Purple clouds and thunder vanished before the torch dragon. Li Taisui pointed his finger. The good fortune prayer mat flew out. Liangshan Continent's #1 spirit treasure, the good fortune prayer mat, spun in the air. A zone of primordial chaos formed, trapping the torch dragon. The torch dragon loosed an ancient flame to burn through this primordial chaos. But this good fortune prayer mat was incomparably awesome. Under the support of Li Taisui's endless magic energy, the area of the primordial void was boundless, trapping the infinite torch dragon inside. The world-shocking torch dragon was surprisingly completely unable to wield its power. Su Xing cursed to himself when he saw this. This old man was too abnormal. Gong Sun Huang's forehead dripped with sweat. Using the heaven rank similarly required her star energy to maintain the torch dragon's existence. Seeing that the torch dragon was helpless, Su Xing was unable to wait any further. His palm swept, and a colored glass lantern appeared. Go! Su Xing chanted. The 5 dragons' lanterns' flames blossomed, and 5 9-clawed golden dragons flew out in succession, attacking the primordial chaos. Li Taisui's expression turned grave, and he chanted continuously. The good fortune primordial chaos continuously changed. The 5 dragons surged inside the primordial chaos, flipping. The might of 5 true dragons was not inferior to the torch dragon. Soon after they had started, Su Xing and Li Taisui dueled with their strongest magic weapons. Slowly, Li Taisui could no longer afford to be relaxed. He weaved his hand seals faster and faster, and the extensive primordial chaos became even tighter, but a few cracks were blown into it by the torch dragon. Just as it was about to collapse, Gong Sun Huang could sustain it no more. Her star energy was completely unable to control the heaven rank, and to maintain it for so long was already her limit. The girl groaned, and she spat a mouthful of blood. The dragon bellowed, finally vanishing into nothingness. Su Xing's eyes narrowed, urging on the 5 dragons' lantern at full power. The 5 dragons' Buddhist light glowed, illuminating the primordial chaos. They slammed around it continuously, and the cracks increased in number. Bang! 1 golden dragon was devoured by the primordial chaos. Then another. The 3rd. The 4th. After the good fortune prayer mat consumed 4 golden dragons, Li Taisui was finally unable to bear the might of the 5 dragons' lantern. The last 9-clawed golden dragon slammed apart the primordial chaos, and the good fortune prayer mat returned to its original form, its surface charred by the torch dragon's extinguishing. It had been surprisingly burnt to ash. Li Taisui's expression changed. The golden dragon immediately pounced with bared fangs and claws. Liked it. Seeing that the magic weapon he had been so proud of was surprisingly annihilated, anger boundlessly emanated from Taisui's body. He opened the paper fan, and the last golden dragon of the 5 dragons' lantern was disintegrated by a bright thunderbolt before Li Taisui's eyes. Su Xing cursed. How was this old man so strong? Although the last 9-clawed golden dragon of the 5 dragons' lantern had been greatly weakened by the primordial chaos, it was not so much that it could be instantly vanquished by a flick of this old man's fan. The heaven rank had merely destroyed Li Taisui's strongest magic weapon. Su Xing suddenly felt enormous pressure. Your Highness! Gong Sun Huang's whole body collapsed onto Su Xing's chest. Little Huang, rest for now. Leave the rest to me. Su Xing softly said. Gong Sun Huang grunted. But she did not enter the star nest at all, instead, floated away from Su Xing. What other tricks will you use? Li Taisui's smile had vanished. An ice-cold glare was in his eyes. Su Xing smiled, not daring to be careless. He wrapped himself in old pig's yellow gown of coronation. The full and gorgeous dragon-patterned king's robe sparkled with golden light. A true dragon swam beside Su Xing, adding to his kingly aura. Even Li Taisui could not help but take notice of this extraordinary attire. This robe actually makes this old man's eyes brighten. You are not like a monster, more like those saints, rather. Li Taisui faintly smiled. But you still will not be able to obstruct this old man just by relying on this robe. As he spoke, a bolt of thunder appeared. That thunderbolt was like a beast, manifesting various forms, filling the entire area. The meditative mind lotus flower similarly bloomed behind Su Xing. Buddhist light glowed. The golden lotus blossomed, a transcendental scene. This contrast of stillness and action was subtle. This poetry was then broken by a shake of Li Taisui's fan. Thunder rolled, striking the lotus flower. Electric arcs tore at it, ripping the blossoming lotus flower to shreds. The remaining lightning twisted directly towards Sushing. Sushing knew that his own advantage was in combat innate skills, like a star general. To battle against Li Taisui, who had a cultivation that was higher by a level, was unmistakably unwise. The thunder covering the heavens made Sushing's escape technique completely useless. Gripping the dragon sparrow Dulong saber, Sushing shot forward. The pale blade light shattered the attacking thunder. The rest of the astral thunder was dispelled by the king robe. Li Taisui's left hand tightened, gracefully gripping the fan. A sweep. Something sank. The space in front of him immediately sank, trapping Sushing within. Millions of star thunders fell into the abyss. Thunder and fire exploded, and the lotus flower faded away. A figure charged out of the thunder, flying straight above Li Taisui. Dragon blood frontline. Sushing fell. Bang! The plane fan surprisingly blocked the dragon sparrow Dulong saber's blade. The dark technique dragon blood frontline exploded around Li Taisui, and the blade light was like densely packed dragon scales. A careful look would show that the torrential saber chi had been isolated outside. Such an impervious armor locks Sushing's attack outside. A good blade. Li Taisui raised the paper fan, pushing Sushing away. Sushing's left palm struck, using Instant Frost Flame. Instant Frost Flame could freeze magic weapons and abilities in an instant. The extreme cold was no less than that of the 10,000-year black ice. Li Taisui's pupils contracted, and the fan continued gusting without stop, once again rolling out a bolt of thunder magic. This thunder magic was nevertheless unable to break Instant Frost Flame. After this thunder magic was frozen, the frost flame fell towards Li Taisui's head. An ordinary supervoid cultivator of Liangshan continent would perhaps suffer misfortune here, but this Li Taisui honestly was the most terrifying opponent Sushing had ever seen. The old man's expression was unflustered, his actions neither fast nor slow. Though he seemed very slow, by the time Sushing noticed, Li Taisui had already avoided Instant Frost Flame. Wielding his fan, the frost was blown away. What a pity you cannot attack Maiden Mountain together with this old man. Li Taisui's expression seemed as if he was looking at a shattered valuable. Elder should just take a rest, too much fighting is bad for you. Sushing smiled and said. Li Taisui smiled. Youngster, this old man has yet to use full strength. Your servant too. Sushing said matter-of-factly. If anybody else heard this, they would probably have been enraged to death. The battle between two top-notch magic weapons was enough to make any Star Master turn pale. But these two were surprisingly talking about not having used full power yet. It was unbelievable, but it was the truth. Why have Wu Song and Lin Chong not appeared yet? Li Taisui asked. They have their own plans. The 1,000-year top martial generals made Li Taisui feel fear. Seeing them absent made Li Taisui decide to settle the battle quickly. If he could get rid of the purple thunder monster this way, then Wu Song and Lin Chong were undoubtedly dead. This clearly was a perfect opportunity. If it was during normal times in single combat, to be frank, this indeed made Li Taisui very uneasy. Thinking rapidly, Li Taisui's tongue burst with spring thunder, and he bellowed. Inside a range of 100 li, thunder rolled. Thunder moves 9 heavens. Meanwhile, the first thought Yang Zijin had after she was finished being in awe of the heaven rank was to go kill Sushing. Although she had let Sushing go some time ago due to various circumstances, that time was purely a personal reason, purely because she felt this man was truly unlike other Star Masters, that he was capable of ending the star duels. But this time was not like the other. As the proudest martial general, Yang Zijin had the honor of a martial general. Since she was Li Taisui's star general, when the two began their star duel, Yang Zijin would also make a best effort. If Sushing recklessly died under her blade at this moment, it only illustrated that this man was not as mature as she had imagined. He would have only come to the White Tiger territory to die. Hua Wanyue and Dong Junqing naturally knew they could not allow Sushing and this abnormally powerful blue-faced beast to enter a direct confrontation. The two girls gave it their all to obstruct Yang Zijin's progress. One was the ranked 9th star general who was the absolute of bow and spear, and the other was one of the Heavenly Star's 5 tiger generals. Even Yang Zijin could not face them so easily. One fight was 100 bouts. Dragon flying phoenix dancing. Dong Junqing was forced to use her earth rank. The double spears attacked Yang Zijin's white robes directly, the dragon and phoenix intertwining. Spatters of blood blossomed one after another, but Dong Junqing was not surprised nevertheless. On the contrary, she became even more grim. She sensed that her earth rank was not bringing Yang Zijin major injury at all. This beast's realm was far superior to her own. Even when she struck directly, Yang Zijin seemed to have enough ability to dissipate the attack. Damn it, this lesson was somewhat dangerous. Yang Zijin's eyes were ice-cold. Her right hand gripped her sword's hilt, and killing intent concentrated on the blade. Lastly, she returned to her usual self, as still as water. This tranquil presence contrarily made Dong Junqing feel extreme danger. Hey! Hua Wanyue spun around in midair, gracefully hovering. The lightning-fast short spear in her hands already turned into the heaven-earth-sun-moon bow. The woman elegantly drew the bow, elegantly took aim, and elegantly fired her arrow. At this critical moment, Hua Wanyue's attack was smooth and flowing. She was practically painting. Powerful killing intent bounded out from her bow, full of an insufferably arrogance as it drilled into Yang Zijin's chest. 10,000 Li God killing arrow. Boom. The arrow produced a loud sound as it pierced into Yang Zijin's heart, the killing intent practically chewing the beast apart. Even from a million li away, the 10,000 Li God killing arrow could shoot through a cultivator's heart, let alone a point-blank shot. For the sake of killing this terrifying beast, Hero Star Little Li Guang Hua Wanyue and the steadfast Star General of Double Spears Dong Junqing had practically given it their all. They were already unbearably exhausted. Add on Little Yi's earth rank from before, Yang Zijin alone had taken 3 Heavenly Stars attacks. Even this beast would be dead, right? When the killing intent dispersed, a cruel fact was uncovered. In fact, Dark Star Yan Zijin's body was covered in wounds. Her white robes had been torn to countless shreds, but there was one other fact. Yang Zijin still emitted a powerful presence, those eyes of hers seemingly locked onto prey. Her right hand clasped her saber's hilt, and then without even the slightest change. Not good. Earth rank. Dong Junqing's surprise changed. Hua Wanyue was similarly astonished. A moving smile flit across the corner of Yang Zijin's lips. The beast's fangs were finally bared. The sword was drawn. The tranquil saber chi suddenly revolted like a torrential storm. The tusk-like saber chi enveloped the area of 1,000 meters around Yang Zijin's body. Every stalk of grass, every tree, every speck of dust and earth could not easily escape. Hua Wanyue and Dong Junqing naturally could not break away. They would die here. The heavens and the earth in this area seemed to have been shattered by Yang Zijin. This was the earth rank saber technique of the 5-star vast blue emperor saber, depleting heaven shattering earth. Song Feng and 8-armed Nezixiang Nongmei stood guard outside Kaifeng. He watched Li Taisui and Su Xing's battle from far away. He seemed to have no intent to involve himself. The purple thunder monster surprisingly came here to die. This is truly unprecedented. Could it be he actually is doing this for that woman's star master? He cannot be so naive, can he? Song Feng muttered to himself, still perplexed after much thought. He originally thought that Su Xing and Li Taisui were the same, merely exploiting the surrounding star masters for an early alliance in the 7 Stars Assembly. However, now it appeared this was not the case. After that Shiyu was stricken with Hanbing's terrified to the bone. Song Feng knew that the best way to dispel it was to destroy that piece of Hanbing's soul, or to kill her. But Song Feng felt that killing Hanbing in the White Tiger territory was a joke. He never imagined that this joke would surprisingly actually take the stage. Of course, he did not rule out that this purple thunder monster was overly arrogant. Perhaps he was thinking of borrowing Chaogai's power to face the Liao Emperor's array. As Song Feng's imagination ran wild, due to his reverence and curiosity about Li Taisui's strength, he merely watched the world burn as he pondered like anybody else. Young master, is this fine? Xiang Nongmei actually felt this was not good. We may actually be hindrances if we go. Song Feng's thinking was very thorough. Li Taisui and the purple thunder monster, Either one was a formidable character. A smart person would only wait for these two to exhaust and injure each other. The good fortune prayer mat has also been destroyed. Perhaps the heavens are helping me. Song Feng laughed. Xiang Nongmei wrinkled her brow, apparently understanding Song Feng's thinking. Lin Chong, Wu Song, Wu Yong, as well as that Hu Sanyang have not appeared yet. I fear they are waiting in the surroundings. There is some plot. We need only stand on guard. By the time they appear, we will not delay in action. Song Feng said. He naturally did not believe that the purple thunder monster would come to the White Tiger territory without his strongest martial generals in tow. Xiang Nongmei nodded, playing with the hidden weapons in her hands. All of a sudden, the girl's ears perceived something. Someone is approaching. Ling Chong? Song Feng was taken aback, for there was suddenly pressure. Fortunately, Song Feng had immediately discovered the intruders. They were two young women who were not even super void stage. There were also two more young girls in accompaniment. Star Master and Star General. These star duels are truly very interesting. For such a weak Star Master to dare venture into the White Tiger territory, could it be that the White Tiger territory has no deterrent power? Song Feng narrowed his eyes. Nongmei, we have things to do. As you command, young master. Xiang Nongmei finally had her interest piqued. Liked it. Was that a heaven rank just now? Su Yixiao asked sacred-handed scholar Xiao Qingyan. The graceful woman nodded. Why would a heaven rank appear in the White Tiger territory? Su Yixiao was confused, her face showing a worried expression. Sikong Chuha turned back and smiled. Little sister need not worry. I assume this heaven rank is most likely related to the purple thunder monster. Su Yixiao gasped in surprise, puzzled as to the reason. Sikong Chuha's reasoning was actually very simple. As the prodigy of these star duels, the purple thunder monster had already thoroughly changed the situation of these star duels. Since he could contract with so many star generals, then Sikong Chuha was actually not very perplexed that a star general would comprehend heaven rank before the heavenly books. That ancient torch dragon's power just now made them feel shaken minuscule. For even the White Tiger territory to tremble at this type of powerful magic could only come from the hand of Maiden Mountain's strongest magic energy star general, the Leisure Star. The purple thunder monster perhaps saw the might of Li Taisui at the Dragon Palace banquet, so he led Lin Chong and the rest to invade the White Tiger territory to get rid of this disaster early. This purple thunder monster is very smart. Sikong Chuha slightly smiled. Su Yixiao agreed. Then shall we go? Xiao Qingyan spoke. Her star beast blank space swam around her. Go, why not got? That White Tiger old man is also an anomaly. If they are fighting one-on-one, then I believe the purple thunder monster is not his opponent. And this place is also the domain of the White Tiger territory's demonkin. If the purple thunder monster dares take action, then he must be prepared to fight to the death. Either one of them will inevitably be seriously injured. Sikong Chuha paused. When she saw hesitation in Su Yixiao's eyes, that she was swallowing back her words. Little sister, what is the matter? To be quite honest, Yixiao and Su Xing have no enmity. Qingyan even painted a portrait for Lin Chong and Huarong, but that is not finished yet. Su Yixiao said hesitantly. Sikong Chuha's face showed bewilderment, muttering to herself if this purple thunder monster was a love saint. How was even Su Yixiao involved with a somewhat ambiguous relationship with him? To cause trouble? How could he have no hostility at any time during the star duels? As she thought this, Sikong Chuha smiled and said, Little sister does not understand. The White Tiger territory demonkin are not humans after all. I said before that even if the purple thunder monster had Lin Chong and Wu Song in the demonkin's domain, he will not be able to take any advantages in a star duel against the White Tiger 7 spirit stars. We shall monitor the situation from the side. When the time comes, perhaps we will help him. Oh right, the purple thunder monster's name is Su Xing. Su Xing'en. This truly is a name connected to the star duels. Sikong Chuha was ambiguous, showing no weak spots. Su Yixiao thought this as well. As the two approached the demonic capital of Kaifeng, The rolling battle of thunder from far away became more visible. Chuha Yixiao, look out! Suddenly, Shan Meng'er and Xiao Qingyan called out at the same time. Several dozen throwing knives appeared like ghosts, flying over from the surroundings. The approach of these hidden weapons was sudden. Even the two most astute and shrewd young women did not anticipate this. Even their star generals who possessed excellent danger perception failed to perceive this. The heavenly river divine colt's hooves splashed with waterlight as it first overturned the sneak-attacking throwing knives. Shan Meng'er raised the flying shower falling star spear and attacked as swift as lightning. Two throwing knives were cut down by the spear. Xiao Qingyang's hand gripped the 4-star life-managing black bamboo wolf brush. Because of her star beast blank space, her drawing speed was extremely quick, faster than the hidden weapons. Her penmanship astonishingly finished a yellow rank painting first. White mine single point. The brush fell, and a white light flashed in the surroundings that completely stopped all of the throwing knives. But the danger had not yet passed. At the same time these throwing knives were launched, a figure already approached at high speed. A spear of flame attacked, bringing in smoldering fire beacon. Watch yellow technique, chariot fuel. The trick of a bug. Shan Meng'er wielded her spear. The heavenly river divine colt pounced at the incoming spear, splashing waves. Spear light flashed. Yellow technique. Horse stamping flying wave approach. The flaming spear and the flying shower spear connected. Suddenly, water and fire clashed, but it was clear that Shan Meng'er's martial arts were stronger. Then, the heavenly river divine steed's ability immediately broke the opponent's spear attack. Immediately afterwards, the gentle and leisurely Shan Meng'er changed from her previous warmth. She skillfully stabbed her spear towards the enemy's chest. The water flowing on the spear astonishingly spiraled, like a dragon, making the spear's power suddenly swift and fierce mid-attack. Dark technique. Time flows like water. What a general of sacred water. The other party praised. The spear's power twisted directly like a storm. Shan Meng'er's determined attack still missed. An Arhut Vajra shield appeared in front of her, immediately dispersing her attack. Dark rank shield technique. 100 beast obstruction. A series of crisp bangs resounded, just like pearls clattering against a jade try. Water flows like time merely knocked away the opponent's attack. Shan Meng'er showed the style of a brilliant martial generals. Just as she was about to pursue, a severe wind suddenly blew in her face. This storm was like 1,000 blades, very powerful. Shan Meng'er immediately was blown away. And when her heavenly river divine colt saw that its mistress was in danger, it bravely shielded her, and was torn to shreds by the storm. Sparrow Flame Talisman. Countless fire sparrows flew out from Shan Meng'er's back, exploding into bursts of flame in midair. Only then did she destroy the approaching storm. The battle took place in the blink of an eye, and in this instant she had already experienced life and death. Be careful, Su Yixiao said. For the moment, the battle was lulling. At this time, both sides had a chance to size up the enemy. Song Feng was high above, showing the tyrannical might of a supervoid cultivator, but his elegance as well. A normal woman would be afraid if not charmed. Unique Star General of Sacred Water Shan Tingyue. Literature Star Sacred-Handed Scholar Xiao Rang. Song Feng smiled. To surprisingly encounter one martial and one literary star general, Song Feng is fortunate. Song Feng cupped his fist and slightly smiled. No wonder, unique star general of sacred water. Xiang Nongmei was a bit disheveled, gloomily twitching her lips. She had just unleashed her hidden weapons in succession, yet her omnidirectional ambush failed to gain an advantage. Her surprise attack had instead resulted in her being pushed back. This made the 8-armed Neza unable to help but look again at that serene woman. Elder sister truly is beautiful. Xiang Nongmei smiled and said. The Shan Meng'er dressed in blue and white water-patterned clothes seemed like a bright and gentle young lady at first glance, especially her eyes that were so lovely and touching. If it was not for the lesson in her might just now, Xiang Nongmei perhaps would have been captivated. Has the purple thunder monster come? Sikong Chuha indifferently said. What, are you here to die with him in the name of love? Song Feng mockingly said. Just what powers does that purple thunder monster have? To surprisingly make so many beautiful people follow him to death? Your servant truly is jealous. Shaking his head, Song Feng's smile suddenly became much more savage. Then your servant shall oblige you. Song Feng disdained any talk of false friendship. Seeing them appear, his heart was already certain that the purple thunder monster had come prepared, as expected. So as to avoid side issues, Song Feng did not hesitate to activate his cool breeze pouch, using his powers at the same time. 1,000 cuts astral wind. The astral wind was like a blade, slicing the trees and forest to pieces. Su Yixiao and the others did not dare face a super void cultivator head-on. Xiao Qingyan and Shan Menger were coordinated, bearing the brunt of the attack. Compared to a Star Master, a Star General's advantages were clear. Bastard. Song Feng cursed. The Star General's attack signified that the Star Masters had lost their final layer of defense. 2 non-super void stage Star Masters. With the vast disparity between their cultivations, Song Feng truly was a bit disapproving. Xiang Nongmei immediately nodded her head. Her star-slashing flying daggers flew out at once. Su Yixiao showed an alarmed expression. She immediately retreated backwards, yet she slyly noticed Sikong Chuha's knowing expression. This sort of expression was very familiar. This was exactly the same as when they killed that old demon Lord of 10 Words. 1. Su Xing's name is a pun of, which is Star of Destiny, a unique star tied to each person's fate. Right arrow curving left 7. Is Lingqi the so-called death by 1,000 cuts? While Song Feng was facing Sikong Chuha and Su Yixiao, Yi Fudu had similarly encountered enemies that had come from outside the White Tiger territory. They were also 2 beautiful girls, however. They were far more formidable than Sikong Chuha and Su Yixiao. Clang! The crisp melody of weapon clashing against weapon echoed. A sorry-looking Hao Bingxin skillfully wielded the giant sword in her hand, the silver snow dragon abyss letting out soft cries. Rays of sword light flowed out from the sword tip. A golden Qilin lance caught the tip of the enormous sword, toying with the giant sword as if it was as light as a feather. Hao Bingxin was infuriated. She spun, her wide-open long skirt fluttering up. The silver snow dragon abyss easily swung down. The silvery white dragon carved upon the blade leapt out, and a glaring silver light exploded towards the young girl. Dark technique. White dragon leaving sword tip. The latter sidestepped, the golden lance twisting in midair. A golden spearlight enveloped the incoming white dragon. No matter how it struggled, the white dragon was shortly dispatched cleanly away. Little sister's martial arts are not bad, as befitting an earthly star for heavenly king. Lu Xiao smiled and said. Hao Bingxin did not show any pride at the praise from the head of martial generals. On the contrary, she became even more grave. How loathsome! How did we bump into you in this place? Truly loathsome. The magnificent star took a deep breath, her left hand clenching her trembling right wrist. In no more than a dozen bouts, Hao Bingxin sensed the might of the strength star. She was practically giving this her all, but this loathsome elder sister so relaxed. This made the earthly star for heavenly king suffer a huge blow. Shower, this is not the time to reminisce with a sister. Chai Ling reminded her from atop the star Qilin dragon horse. Xinger opened its mouth, and a beam of throw money away recklessly to once again dispel Yi Futu's attack. Bingxin, be careful. Yi Futu said in a low voice. Hao Bingxin sneered. Do not be too proud of yourself. As she said this, the petite lowly suddenly dragged her giant sword, rushing towards Lu Xiao like a horizontal line. Along the way, a layer of frost formed, and countless snowflakes fell from the little lowly's feet. This scene was very beautiful. Earth rank? Lu Xiao smiled and gripped her lance with both hands. Star energy flowed into her lance, and it began to twinkle with light. A sharp howl broke out of Hao Bingxin's soft throat. The instant she leapt, the snow flowing around the magnificent star's body suddenly gathered together, unfolding in front of Lu Xiao like a giant peach blossom of ice and snow. Sword Qi attacked in all directions, and with Hao Bingxin as the center, all of the sword Qi concentrated into a point upon the silver snow dragon abyss and blossomed. The Hao Bingxin in battle was extremely beautiful. She closed her eyes, a dreamy posture as she wielded her weapon. The giant sword's tip followed the incoming ice and frost, and continuously circled towards Lu Xiao. Even Jade Qilin was endlessly astonished. The magnificent star's earth rank sword technique. Sleeping frost laying snow battle sword. In the middle of the earth technique sleeping frost laying snow battle sword, the chilling sword tip sealed the opponent's means of counterattack. Lu Xiao could only quickly withdraw, and use the lance to defend. And Hao Bingxin's seemingly dreamy technique had practically trapped Lu Xiao in the sword technique, leaving her with no way to break away. The ice-cold sword qi sliced open several dozen cuts deep enough to show bone into Lu Xiao's body. However, as the head of the martial force generals, Lu Xiao would not sit and wait for death. Having used the 1,000-year tears, Jade Qilin's star energy was far more potent than Hao Bingxin's even with her being contracted. The girl laughed, and the golden lance flared as if aflame. The silver light and golden light clashed, giving rise to a scene of indescribable beauty. The frost finally abated. Hao Bingxin opened her eyes, and what entered her view was that vile grin of the elder sister. Ha! Hao Bingxin was startled. Lu Xiao raised her spear and thrust. The little lowly raised her giant sword to block, but her arms were as heavy as lead. Before she could do so, she had been skewered by Lu Xiao's lance. From the killing intent on the lance, Hao Bingxin was flung 100 meters away, and the giant sword in her hands thereupon fell to the ground. Lu Xiao stepped forward, her figure flashing by, the lance stabbing at Hao Bingxin once again. The magnificent star was pale in the face. She could only despair and wait for death. When Yi Futu saw this, he gave up on Chai Ling and sent his extreme fire flying swords towards Lu Xiao. But as far as Jade Qilin was concerned, flying swords were completely unable to bring her any threat. Lu Junyi, trades blows with me. Yi Futu shouted, pouncing towards her. He attacked with a long sword. Lu Xiao's eyelashes rose. Completely surprised this man would unexpectedly charge at her. She swept with her lance, catching Yi Futu's sword. But this man completely ignored her might as the Jade Qilin, the #1 martial general, surprisingly sticking close to her. 100 flying swords surrounding Yi Futu continuously attacked Lu Xiao, coordinating a frightening attack with Yi Futu himself that surprisingly was somewhat threatening. Young master, don't. Hao Bingxin shouted in terror. Yi Futu ignored her. Battle potential wildly flourished, making Yi Futu's attack abnormally fierce. But in Lu Xiao's eyes, this nevertheless amounted to nothing more than brandishing claws and fangs. The young girl easily caught the endless stabs of the 100 flying swords, facing Yi Futu's assault with more than enough leeway. The corner of her lips curled, and Lu Xiao suddenly exerted force. Yi Futu only felt his eyes become blinded. Then Lu Xiao's figure vanished from his sight. Yi Futu was shocked, and before he could react, he immediately caught sight of what the strongest martial general was. The golden Qilin lance pressed against his throat, immediately disintegrating all of his attacks. If we made any movements, Yi Futu had no doubts that this lance would run him through. Elder sister, do not kill Futu. Hao Bingxin staggered over in fright as she ran over. Lu Xiao looked at her, then she looked back to Yi Futu. To seek Xiao out for sparring, you have guts. Are you a fool, or do you think yourself clever? To be able to trade blows with the #1 martial general, I can die without any regrets. Yi Futu said fearlessly. Lu Xiao smirked. She lowered the golden Qilin lance. This man was actually somewhat similar to Su Xing, however, he was still very much inexperienced with martial arts. When she lowered her lance, Yi Futu seized his chance to launch another attack. As the Jade Qilin, head of the martial generals, Yi Futu knew of her might. If he could kill her and take her golden Qilin lance, he would inevitably hold an overwhelming advantage in the future star duels. Even if he did not kill her, the experience of exchanging blows was enough to make Yi Futu awaken frightening potential from the battle potential innate skill he inherited from Hao Bingxin. Of course, there was another reason. Yi Futu saw through Lu Xiao's dignity as a martial general and anticipated she would not finish him. Lu Xiao was not unaware of his plan. Jade Qilin remained calm and unruffled, her face wearing a slight smile as she fought several hundred bouts with Yi Futu. Shower does not have time to play with you. So Shower will let you know the cruelty of a martial general's star duel. Lu Xiao's grin suddenly turned cold. Yi Futu said to himself this was bad. His potential exploded and activated to the limit, but a ray of golden light formed a straight line that stuck into Yi Futa's body. It uprooted and flung him away. Futu. Hao Bingxin worriedly ran over. Fortunately, Yi Futu had bet correctly on Lu Zhao's dignity as a martial general. Although the injury from this last thrust was very severe, it was not fatal at all, leaving him alive. Let Shower see to what degree you will grow. Next time, Shower will not hesitate to take your head. Although Lu Xiao was more impressed with Yi Futa's mind of a martial general, she was somewhat displeased that he believed he had exploited her. Many thanks for your distinguished self letting me win. Futu is grateful. Yi Futa heaved, having used his true qi to protect his internal organs. Your servant's true name is Hao Bingxin. Next time, your savant will definitely pay you back twofold. The little lowly first gave her gratitude for Lu Xiao not killing Yi Futu. Then she returned to her four heavenly king language. Of course, these words would only make Lu Zhao's smile wider. Yi Futu and Hao Bingxin were already unable to continue battle. That must be noble star Chai Jin? Then Futu has a word of warning. That Li Taisui is exceptionally powerful, his magic energy unfathomable. Futu urges that you two leave this place as quickly as possible to avoid drawing fire onto yourselves. Yi Futu looked at Chai Ling. Everyone knew that Chai Ling possessed the red ink iron certificate. Originally, he had wanted to kill her and take the red ink iron certificate. What a pity that this noble star was indeed the mistress of the Great Circle Castle. Yi Futu was helpless to even touch her. However, Yi Futu still wished to warn this proud queen at this moment a final time to leave the White Tiger territory. He certainly did not want to let that old man obtain the red ink iron certificate. These words were truly unparalleled in the world. That old man is truly so formidable. Chai Ling stroked Xinger, lowering her brow. How does Yang Zijin compare to Shower? Lu Xiao asked curiously. Elder sister Yang Zijin will not lose to you, big sister. Hao Bingxin seriously replied. With the support of Taisui's boundless star energy, if only you had a contractor, otherwise Blue-Faced Beast's victory is certain. Yi Futa said. Interesting. Lu Xiao thoughtfully said. Just what is that old man's true body? Do you know? Chai Ling asked. She had dispatched people to consult countless records and investigate the White Tiger territory's thunder-type demon beasts. There were no records of such a powerful demonkin ever appearing. Yi Futu shook his head, also uncertain. We must meet this old man. So as to avoid disturbing the idol. This palace feels. Chai Ling covered her slight grin. Xingamewed. Yi Futu looked conflictedly at Lu Xiao and Chai Ling. He used the jade pendant and left the area. Elder sister Shower, why did you let this man go? This palace sees that his schemes run very deep. You will have nurtured a tiger that invites calamity. Chai Ling turned back and asked. A tiger that invites calamity? Lu Xiao laughed. Is this not the perfect time to leave this to tiger fighting hero CEO? Elder sister must let him go, because you feel that he and Su Xing are very alike? Chai Ling asked. This Yi Futu is the second person to have ever dared to raise a hand against Shower. Just on this alone, Shower let him go. However, there is another point, little sister Chai Ling, that you have nevertheless misinterpreted. Which? He and Su Xing are not alike. This man used the magnificent star to hinder Shower while he himself went to kill you first of all to take your red ink iron certificate. He is seeking the greatest benefit in the star duels. Afterwards, when he saw that he could not handle you, only when Hao Bingxin was injured did he make a move to stop Shower and exploit Shower's sisterly sentiments. To him, his own star general is something to exploit, Lu Xiao said softly. It sounds like that little sister is somewhat sad. Chai Ling muttered. The star duels have always been like this. It is understandable. Chai Ling, you have been misled by your Xinger. Lu Xiao smiled. Chai Ling used the golden thread feather fan to conceal her lips, hiding her embarrassment. Let us go right now to see just what medicine this husband has eaten. To surprisingly star duel with Li Taisui. Lu Xiao stared into the distance, already able to see Su Xing and Li Taisui's figured husband? This Xinger honestly is a womanizer. Chai Ling thought to herself, then asked. Does elder sister also feel that Xinger will be unable to bestly Tai Sui? Even Xiaoer has no confidence to defeat him. Lu Xiao was calm. Huh. Liked it. Time flows like water. Fire beacon rolling kill. General of Sacred Water Shan Menger and 8-armed Nezixiang Nongmei cross blades. The former was of resplendent, flowing light. A killing intent formed like a net, filling the entire space. The latter was a brace spear, its tip scorching and boiling. The flames rolled with thick smoke, filling the skies and earth, covering all sides and pouncing towards Shan Menger all at once. She had no place to hide. The flying shower falling star spear and the 9 songs clinging fire spear traded blows, evenly matched with one another. Shan Menger spun. Her realm far surpassed Xiang Nongmei's, and after first contact with the dark techniques, the girls delicately stepped forward, he blue and white dress flashing light. A blue flower blossomed at her side. It was extremely beautiful, and it was none other than the astral treasure blue clothes lotus pattern. Her exceedingly white thigh-high boots stepped on the air, creating ripples. The girl passed the fire beacon rolling kill, swinging her spear towards Xiang Nongmei. Xiang Nongmei's realm was slightly lower, but she had the innate skill pass that allowed her to launch her heaven, earth, dark, and yellow techniques without any carelessness. After the fire beacon rolling kill, she was already charging her earth rank. The girl showed a triumphant sneer. She bore the attack of Shan Menger's spear thrust. Her arms moved, and her shadow multiplied. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Cold light glittered in the air. A chill tore apart space. 4-star execution flying daggers dark technique, drilling death breakthrough. Bang. The flying daggers were stopped by Shan Menger's astral treasure blue clothes lotus pattern. Everything was blocked, but at the same time, Shan Menger's astral treasure defense broke apart. At this time, literature star sacred-handed scholar Xiao Qingyan also executed her dark technique. Her brush traced a brush like a serpent. A dragon emerged from under the brush and charged at Xiang Nongmei. Xiang Nongmei used her 100 Beast obstruction to block it. The teamwork between you two sisters is not bad. Xiang Nongmei hovered in the air, licking her lips. One hand gripped a spear, the other held a shield, and on her back were several flying daggers. This flying star who received the star energy support of the demonkin was indeed not simple. Just by herself she was able to hold back the 44th and 46th ranked Shan Menger, and Xiao Qingyan that place far above herself. Even the always gentle as water Shan Menger was slightly flustered. However, before the earth rank appeared, the battle was not finished. Shan Menger glimpsed that white tiger demonkin had driven her master Chuha into a dead end. She glanced at Xiao Qingyan, and the literature star tacitly nodded. She knew the situation was very dangerous. Compared to when they faced Lord of 10 Words, although that demonkin's cultivation was shallow, because he had inherited the flying star's innate skill pass, his abilities could be used continuously, impossible to guard against. Want to quickly kill Nongmei? Xiang Nongmei giggled as she saw through their thinking. Shan Menger grunted and stepped on air. Xiao Qingyan's white hand tapped. 300 middle-grade talismans, fire sparrow talismans filled the skies, becoming little fire sparrows. They filled the sky and spectacularly bombarded towards Xiang Nongmei. At the center, Xiao Qingyan was holding her life-managing black bamboo wolf brush, drawing a painting at high speed. The wolf brush's purple light glimmered, and like mist, her earth rank indistinctly manifested. Xiang Nongmei's amused smile became a sneer. The star-slashing flying daggers countered. Though the 300 fire sparrows appeared powerful, a middle-grade talisman already posed no threat at all to a star general in the current stage of the star duels, which had already reached the 3 heavenly books. The star-slashing flying daggers flew out with a whoosh. The 4-star flying daggers glimmered. The killing intent of the flying daggers instantly destroyed the 300 fire sparrows without stopping. Although the literature star was not strong, her abilities were far more complicated to deal with than Shan Menger's spearmanship. Looking at this bookish woman, Xiang Nongmei stirred her murderous intent. No longer dealing with Shan Menger, she quickly attacked Xiao Qingyan. Xiao Qingyan quietly endured and waited. Her right hand traced with her brush while her left hand's finger hooked. A high-grade talisman that she personally manufactured, painted dragon-dotted eyes, formed into a dragon's image. The dragon's eyes flashed blinding light, revealing the location of enemies that had escaped. Then, the talisman's dragon shadow suddenly came to life. This type of innate skill that created talismans could not be matched by any of Liangshan continent's countless talisman masters. The Heavenly King Vajra shield blocked. Xiang Nongmei scuttled out from behind the shield. Do you think you can fight the two of us? Shan Ming'er calmly said. I shall allow you a glimpse of my earth rank. Xiang Nongmei sneered. Another 8-armed Neza Xiang Nongmei appeared from her back. That new flying star stepped to the side, and from behind her emerged another Xiang Nongmei. Then this one stepped to the side, and another Xiang Nongmei walked out from behind her. In the blink of an eye, 8-armed Neza had become 4, just like her namesake 8-armed. You want to fight 2 against 1, then 4 against 2. The 4 Xiang Nongmei spoke in unison. Even their breathing was in tandem. Their wrists turned, and 8-armed Neza's assassination usage star-slashing flying daggers appeared in their hands, coldly glinting. Xiang Nongmei grinned. Welcome and enjoy your servant's earth rank. Descent of 4 symbols. The 4 Xiang Nongmei attacked at the same time. One stalled Shan Ming'er while the other 3 went off to first kill Xiao Qingyan. The star-slashing flying daggers were like a torrential downpour. Not only this, but the spears of the 4 Xiang Nongmei also stabbed with red light at the same time. The shields in their left hands manifested the overwatch of a Vajra. This descent of 4 symbols was combined the techniques of the 3 weapons spear, flying daggers and shield into one, splitting into 4 people. It could be said this was an attack of 4 styles in one instant. Even Shan Ming'er showed a concerned expression. The girl raised her spear and fought back, her offensive like a rolling tide. Xiao Qingyan stepped back, continuously retreating. Her body was already covered in numerous cuts from the flying daggers, dripping with blood, staining her palace dress. The sacred-handed scholar grit her teeth. Blank space exploded with leftover energy, allowing the literature star to finish the last stroke. Earth rank technique. Faint smoke flowing water painting of liveliness. Her brush stroke dotted, and a scroll of light smoke and flowing water unraveled in front of Xiao Qingyan. All of the enemy's attack power sunk squarely into the scroll. Without any killing intent, the scroll unfurled and wrapped around 2 of the Xiang Nongmei, instantly killing them, but the last one nevertheless approached by rushing as the scroll unfurled. A point of crimson light pierced through Xiao Qingyan's chest. The always quiet woman at this moment made a helpless sigh. As a bookish scholar, to be able to kill me twice, elder sister can die without regrets. The real Xiang Nongmei smiled and said. But her smile instantly vanished. Xiao Qingyan similarly smiled. This smile was beautiful, and as the girl dotted with her brush, a serene light covered Xiang Nongmei. Only then did faint smoke flowing water painting of liveliness really begin. This is bad, I was fooled. Xiang Nongmei was pale in the face. She grit her teeth and swung her spear in an attempt to send Xiao Qingyan flying, but the girl clung on firmly, not allowing her way. At the same time, killing intent pounced from behind. Shan Ming'er's shadow was like a white colt, kicking up a white wave. She barreled straight towards Xiang Nongmei. 8-armed Neza grew worried. She used her past innate skill once again, promptly using the yellow rank shield technique Vajra protective body. But Shan Ming'er had used her earth rank technique. Water flowing past 1,000 years. Not only did the attack pass by as fast as a steed, the power was not something the yellow technique could block. Shan Ming'er's white figure pierced through the shield's defenses like a specter. Then it pierced through Xiang Nongmei and Xiao Qingyan, flowing across 2 girls' limbs like water. Xiang Nongmei finally understood. If this was a one-on-one battle, although Shan Ming'er's earth rank water flowing past 1,000 years attack that ignored defenses was powerful, dodging with her speed was possible. However, Xiao Qingyan had seized her, making her lose the initiative. This way, Xiang Nongmei had no way to flee. She surprisingly used her own death to trap her. Xiang Nongmei turned her head to see Xiao Qingyan's virginal and tender face, and she suddenly came to an epiphany. Song Feng, flee quickly. They are dangerous. The words were caught in her throat. Xiang Nongmei's divine intent faded, and she fell into the star nest. Little sister. Shanmenger turned back to prop up the fallen Xiao Qingyan. Yi Xiao and Chuha, Xiao Qingyan whispered. Shanmenger nodded. The literature star smiled, and thereupon fell into the star nest herself. 4. Now it's 5-1. Don't say this is unfair, you are the 5 Kage after all. Song Feng was truly frustrated by the two young women in front of him. The difference between them was as wide as heaven and earth. He had originally thought that he could take them easily, but a star master was indeed not as simple as an ordinary star cultivator, not easy to handle. Several times, his spiritual pressure was avoided. The paths the girls escaped along appeared random and chaotic, but they seemed planned. They always just kept Song Feng's attention divided. These two girls appeared smart. Can they be baiting me? Song Feng thought to himself. However, their cultivations were too disparate. Supervoid stage and supercluster late stage was not as simple as being one realm apart, let alone that this was the White Tiger territory. As one of the Grand Demonkin, there was no reason for him to fear two weak girls. Even the most shrewd old demons must follow Liangshan cultivation's deep-rooted cultivation classes. Therefore, Song Feng immediately dispelled his last misgivings. Let us see if your body techniques are faster than my wind. Song Feng thought to himself. He was the wind among the 7 spirit stars, the most adept at speed. There was no reason that he would lose to 2 reckless youngsters. When he thought of this, Song Feng formed a hand seal, and a ray of green light flew out. His gentle breeze pouch appeared, and the bag opened. An astral wind stormed out that sucked in trees and the grasses. When the gale blew, Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha's body techniques immediately stagnated. They used magic weapons at full power to resist the suction of the gentle breeze pouch. Song Feng entered the wind. Su Yixiao waved her hand, wielding the exhausted bamboo slats book. A supercluster stage magic weapon dares to appear before me. Song Feng disapproved. He pointed, and the 1,000 cuts astral wind bound the exhausted bamboo slats book. He originally thought that he could easily shred apart this magic weapon, but he never imagined that breaking this book would be surprisingly so difficult. The ancient characters of the book manifested, unfolding an odd formation. Surprisingly, it temporarily pacified the 100 qi of storm surrounding Su Yixiao. So this is actually an ancient treasure. Song Feng's brows rose. Su Yixiao's left hand moved. 100 fully charged fire sparrow talismans transformed into 100 fire sparrows that launched themselves towards Song Feng. But before they could draw near Song Feng, he swatted them down. An astral wind roared out from his palm, blowing the burning fire sparrows asunder, turning them into smoke. Die. Song Feng's palm released a green light. Go. Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha chanted at the same time. The yin-yang swords appeared out of thin air, their light multiplying. Suddenly, they shot towards Song Feng. Song Feng's palm swatted the swords. He felt pain in his palm, his whole body numb, but his cultivation was far above the two girls. There was a brief moment of deadlock, but then he slapped away the yin-yang swords. Su Yixiao turned grim. This Song Feng was much more formidable than old demon 10 words. Although the latter was supercluster middle stage cultivation, Song Feng was a star master. He had received Xiang Nongmei's innate skill. An old demon lord of 10 words could not compare in speed or reactions. If they had already injured their opponent prior, they could egg on his rage, making him show gaps afterwards, then kill him with the heaven-earth shears when he least expected it. But this Song Feng's level composure was frightening. There were no gaps in him at all. Long sleeves danced beautifully. Su Yixiao waved her sleeves, and an aroma wafted towards Song Feng. Song Feng pointed, and a green light appeared. The green light was like a blade, tearing the aromatic sleeve to shreds. Little sister, be careful. Sikong Chuha cried out in worry. The wind drill ground straight for Su Yixiao. Just as Su Yixiao was about to be cut to ribbons, Sikong Chuha barely blocked it, activating a defensive magic weapon. The green light burst, covering the two of them in cuts. Still not running? Could it be that you know your jade pendants are not as fast as my astral wind? Song Feng smiled, raising his hand. The astral wind was like a blade, making the two girls suffer sorry figures. Little sister, you run. I will stall him. Sikong Chuha was somewhat frenetic. This demonkin was correct. His speed was abnormally quick, and their jade pendants were far from purple star grade. They were completely unable to escape. Only by one of them leaving behind to stall him was there a chance to live. Chuha, do not be impulsive. Calm down. Su Yixiao shouted. The lady truly is bold. Song Feng is impressed. Song Feng could not help but take note of Su Yixiao being so calm even at death's door. Are you hoping your star generals will come rescue you? If you think they can face Yang Nongmei with a 2 against 1, then you are too naive. Song Feng's figure moved, instantly reaching in front of Su Yixiao. Su Yixiao narrowly escaped having her shoulder shattered by Song Feng's palm strike. The girl was sent flying, but she danced in midair, her figure swirling about and making Song Feng's next attack miss. Cresting wave spry dance, Song Feng recognized this escape technique. Yixiao believes in Qingyan. Su Yixiao said with difficulty. That is for the best. Song Feng sneered. It was for the best that she waited until he killed her to wake her to reality. Again his wind attack approached. Do not think of hurting little sister. Sikong Chuha's flying swords attacked. Song Feng opened his mouth. A green rainbow burst out from his body. All the vegetation within a range of 1,000 chi was cut to pieces by an invisible sword, carving a gulch into the ground. Tyranny over vegetation. Su Yixiao opened her red lips, spitting blood. Sikong Chuha's flying swords were completely defeated. Song Feng is actually very impressed with your courage. What a pity, what a pity. Song Feng instantly arrived in front of Su Yixiao. His claw scratched at the girl's head. This attack would kill Su Yixiao without doubt. But just at this moment, Su Yixiao was still as calm as before. This composure made Song Feng feel a shiver. Su Yixiao warmly smiled, and a purple star crest suddenly shimmered on her forehead. Like a brush tracing around. Resonance. Song Feng was astonished. This is bad. This girl surprisingly renounced putting up any defense against him. Instead, she funneled all of her star energy into her own star general. Song Feng suddenly felt Xiang Nongmei fall into the star nest. If a star general fell into the star nest, they fell into the star master's consciousness. There would be a momentary stagnation. This instant normally did not count for much, but precious seconds at a critical moment nevertheless was the difference between life and death. Su Yixiao waited for just this moment. Blood dripped down her slender fingers. She threw out a curse-binding locking star talisman. This talisman was completely black, covered in purple script. Black chains in the surroundings. This talisman was one of 2 supreme-grade talismans the sacred-handed scholar had produced for the star duels. When this talisman activated, a bundle of chains burst out. The light of the stars within shot out, trapping Song Feng inside. This supreme-grade talisman did not produce significant injury, but it could make the most top-notch star generals, even heavenly spirits, completely trapped. If they were trapped by the locking star talisman, the star general would lose any chance at resistance and could only sit and wait for death. However, even a star master could use it to trap an opponent's movements. Without powerful abilities, it was difficult to escape from. But Song Feng was so shrewd that he immediately sensed danger. Without hesitation, he manifested his true body. A magnificent green bird took form. This demon beast was named Edged Plume, an expert at turning wind into a blade. Song Feng screeched. His cultivation had already reached supervoid middle stage, and a powerful wind storm launched from his feathers, instantly ripping the chains apart. But he was too late. Heaven, earth, Shears. The haggard Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha finally found the chance they had been waiting for to attack. Though they each were heavily injured, their coordination instead was wielded at the highest level. The girls pointed, and a shocking sound rang everywhere in the world. The heaven-earth Shears appeared in front and behind him. Spiritual power that pulled in the world trapped the temporarily weakened Song Feng that spared no effort to escape the barrier. Song Feng's whole body did not budge, and his expression was aghast. He howled continuously. 2 rays of white and black light rose, twisting towards him from above and below. Song Feng could not resist this. Just as he was about to be cleaved by the heaven-earth Shears, a scream of despair broke out from his throat, making anyone who heard it feel grief, exceptional sympathy. The heaven-earth Shears power did not lessen, stirring the spiritual power of the world. Song Feng turned the winds of the world into his own blades, but the heaven-earth Shears nevertheless turned the world's spiritual power into its own. This was a trick several levels more brilliant. The heaven-earth Shears instantly twisted back and forth several times, and even a divine immortal was powerless to return to heaven. The Song Feng, who had been careful his entire life, establishing cordial relations, never imagined that he would ever fall to this state, to die at the hands of two youngsters, and the promise he made back then to Flying Star 8-armed Neza faded into the wind alongside the fragments of his being. He had eternally transformed into dust. With Song Feng's death, Sikong Chuha finally breathed a sigh of relief. She looked at the dying Su Yixiao, and she rushed over in a panic. Little sister, little sister, little sister. I am all right. Su Yixiao rose with difficulty. Sikong Chuha hugged Su Yixiao and wept, tears streaming down her overjoyed face. When Song Feng was right in front of Su Yixiao a moment ago, Sikong Chuha had truly though Su Yixiao would die. Su Yixiao was somewhat stunned. She warmly smiled and gently patted Sikong Chuha's hand. Chuha Yixiao is fine. Little sister's wounds are so severe, we had better leave for now. This place is best left to the purple thunder monster. They had practically exhausted everything to finally kill one-star master, which dispelled any idea Sikong Chuha had of waiting to take advantage of the situation. The danger of the White Tiger territory was far beyond her imagination. The next time, they probably would not be so lucky. Although Su Yixiao looked regretfully in the direction of Su Xing's heaven-shaking battle, she nevertheless nodded. The star duel between Su Xing and the head of the White Tiger Demonkin was perhaps far beyond what they could meddle with. Just as the two of them prepared to leave, all of a sudden, they heard Shan Menger's terrified scream in the distance. Chuha, quickly flee. What? Sikong Chuha had hardly heard anything when suddenly, the dirt and sand Song Feng blue rolled around, and a hazy woman magically appeared behind them. Look out! Su Yixiao changed. A stone sword pierced through Sikong Chuha's chest. Just as it was about to run through Su Yixiao at the same time, strength that Sikong Chuha did not know she had exploded from her palm as she pushed the girl away. Then, with the fastest speed she had mustered in her entire life, she slammed her palm against the stone sword. Her flying swords rose from the ground, forming a sword array. Bang 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 bang. Flying sword and stone sword clashed, producing countless sparks. The expressionless stone woman who had appeared was none other than Xian Lao. The woman was absolutely silent, like a stone mountain. There was no fluctuation in her emotions at all. She slowly walked towards them, her footsteps brimming with an aura that made the two girls tremble in despair. Unlike the grace and poise of Song Feng, Xian Lao's aura was like a heavy mountain crushing Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha into suffocation. Little sister, quickly flee. Sikong Chuha looked at Su Yixiao. The girl's expression was both reluctant to part but bade farewell, determined and devoid of any fear. Chuha, don't. Su Yixiao lost her voice. Sikong Chuha slightly smiled, and turned to face an opponent she could not possibly win against. Liked it. The stone woman Xian Lao did not bat an eye at Sikong Chuha's heroic sacrifice. The tall woman did not hesitate at all to tap her foot. Yellow dust rolled, scattering about. Sikong Chuha controlled her flying swords to form a heavenly water sword array. Swordlight glowed brightly, flowing like a waterfall, cascading onto the yellow dust. Upon contact, the yellow dust released a yellow light. There was a flash, and then it became countless swords of dust. Sikong Chuha was only supercluster late stage. Her flying sword abilities had no way to contend against a supervoid cultivator's power. Under the water light, many of the yellow rays still stabbed forth, cutting open wounds all over Sikong Chuha's body. General of Sacred Water Shan Menger was no longer gentle. Her expression turned furious. She dashed over, but along the way, she was stopped by General of Heavenly Vision Peng Fei. Her golden hair billowed. The woman who was like a divine general was as gentle as water, facing off against the magnificent woman in front of her. The 4-star bright moon without border, and the flying shower falling star clashed with brilliant sparks. Spearlight flashed, clashing to and fro. General of Sacred Water Shan Meng'er activated her innate skill water creation. The yellow dirt immediately flowed past the knee. In the water, Shan Meng'er immediately forgot about her previously exhausted energy and her heavy wounds entirely. The girl swiftly wielded her spear, each thrust splattering countless stars like a waterfall, an absolutely beautiful scene. Shan Meng'er's martial arts far surpassed the general of heavenly vision. After exchanging blows 100 times, she had already seized the advantage. Suddenly at this moment, a pair of golden wings sprouted from Peng Fei's shoulders. These wings were like gold, their edges like swords. The wings flapped, sending Peng Fei soaring into the air, away from the range of the water. These wings attacked like weapons. This was Peng Fei's star beast mallard wings. By relying on the mallard wings, she once again stalled Shan Meng'er. Shan Meng'er watched helplessly as Sikong Chuha fell into a deathly situation she could not recover from. How could she bear to sit and watch from the sidelines? The girl shouted, and the water within a range of 100 meters launched over. The girl first retreated, then rushed with her spear. She once again used her earth rank water flowing past 1,000 years. Peng Fei's martial arts were average, but with her third heavenly eye open, she was more alert than the average person. Although she was shaken by the raging waters, the heavenly eye's quick glance spotted General of Sacred Water Shan Yinggui's earth rank. She did not hesitate to dodge. A cut opened across her chest, grazing by. But Shan Meng'er's target was not her at all. Rather, it was Xian Lao. Beforehand, Su Yixiao knew this was an unavoidable disaster the moment she saw Xian Lao emerge. This enemy was clearly alarmed by Tsang Feng's death, and came prepared. Xian Lao felt no emotion. So long as they were an enemy, she would never show mercy. Her first task was to strike Sikong Chuha into her grave. Afterwards, Sikong Chuha relied on her flying swords and her last abilities to stake everything into blocking Xian Lao's attack, but the only question was when she would collapse. Su Yixiao heard Sikong Chuha's words and subconsciously brought out her jade pendant, but she was unable to use it. If she used her jade pendant, Sikong Chuha would be dead without doubt, and they were too far from the purple thunder monster. The purple thunder monster was also entangled with the strongest of the white tiger demonkin. To think of being saved by him was a cripple's dream. The quiet heaven-earth shears on the ground slowly rang, as if they were transmitting Sikong Chuha's words, "Quickly run. Quickly run. Quickly run." According to the rules of the star duels, no one could feel that Su Yixiao fleeing at this time was reprehensible at all. This was a matter of course. The star duels would never live in an eternal ally, but Su Yixiao found she could not follow through with this matter-of-fact way of thinking. When she saw Sikong Sihuha stake everything to buy her time to escape, her body already could not be controlled. "I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. We definitely can make it through this together." Su Yixiao grit her teeth. She caught a glimpse of Shan Meng'er's surprise attack and immediately fished out an astral stone and softly chanted, "Talisman without true form, activate with Qi." Her last supreme grade talisman, World Lamp Convergence Talisman, activated. This talisman became a wisp of clear Qi, concentrating into a lamp shape. Worldly Qi poured in and out of the vessel's mouth. This was the Convergence Talisman's ability, absorbing the world's pure spiritual power and giving it to the talisman user, temporarily raising their realm. Su Yixiao had astonishingly broken through to Supervoid stage. Once Su Yixiao entered Supervoid stage, her power suddenly changed. Sikong Chuha and Xian Lao were stunned. Just at this moment, Shan Meng'er raised her spear and attacked with water flows past 1,000 years. Xian Lao could only step back, saving Sikong Chuha. This was the perfect chance that Su Yixiao had been waiting for. "Chuha!" Su Yixiao shouted, gathering all of her magic energy into the heaven-earth shears. The already spent heaven-earth shears recovered their light. Black and white lights intertwined, becoming two rays disappearing into space. Sikong Chuha understood tacitly and formed a hand seal at the same time, moving her divine intent. The girl's teamwork was the peak of perfection. There was no other more perfect steadfast loyalty to be found in the world. It did not lose out to her tacit understanding originally with Sikong Dongnyo. This instant, the heaven-earth shears were connected under their minds, far more fierce than usual. The spiritual power in the world thereupon was stirred. As if by invisible chains, Xian Lao immediately sensed her body was trapped, unable to budge. Before she could activate the All Things bracelet, the heaven-earth shears even faster speed twisted to Xian Lao. Then, yellow dust rolled, earthly chi spread. Xian Lao's mountain-like, suffocating presence finally vanished. Bright Moon Longevity Palace. White stripe in the waves. Zhang Yuqi sat next to bed of her elder sister's contractor, Shiyu looking worried. The white python next to her sensed its mistress' concern, and maintained a vigil. As the one who stayed behind to guard Shiyu, Zhang Yuqi was unable to participate in the star duel against Li Taisui. But she knew that even if she did join in, she would not be too useful. She was a water general, an expert in water magic. Going would instead help Li Taisui turn his thunder magic into an even greater threat. Against those unfathomable demonkin, Zhang Yuqi was considerably worried for Su Xing. Just as she thought this, the palace suddenly shook with an earthquake. Zhang Yuqi suddenly stood up and rushed outside. The currently chatting Lianxin and Xiuxiu also sensed the jolt. Somewhere extremely far away, an explosive killing intent came from far away. This killing intent made the entire Bright Moon Longevity Palace shudder. If that man wants to save her, he will first have to face Zijin. Without Lin Chong or Wu Song, he basically has no chance of victory against Zijin at all. Xiuxiu's sharp brows rose. He is indeed too impulsive. You don't understand, Yang Su. Since Yang Zijin has used her earth rank, that Han Bing is dead for sure. Zhang Yuqi was full of confidence. Xiuxiu did not understand. Perhaps Li Taisui is a crafty fox and will stall Yang Su, but no matter what, Yang Su will put saving Shiyu first. White stripe in the waves, your meaning is? Daredevil third brother had vague understanding. The blow that decides victory or defeat is often done when least expected. Zhang Yuqi retracted her smile and leapt onto the urgent sea's white spirit python. Yang Su, oh Yang Su. Yuqi certainly does not want to guard an empty bedchamber alone. Lianxin, I'm leaving elder sister to you to protect. Bai Langer, let's go. The white spirit python hissed, and its figure flashed like white lightning. When it broke free of the Bright Moon Longevity Palace, it made a beeline towards Kaifeng. Can you talk about how White Stripe in the Wave signed a contract? Xiuxiu turned back and asked. Tang Lianxin nodded. Before Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha's unparalleled coordination of the heaven-earth shears finished off Xian Lao, Su Xing's war against Li Taisui finally found a chance. Blue-faced beast used her earth rank, depleting heaven shattering earth, to kill Hua Wanyue and Dong Juanqing's star beasts, heavily injuring the two girls at the same time, and her blue vast emperor saber's worldly killing intent washed over Su Xing. The killing intent flowed, and even Su Xing and Li Taisui's powerful battle could not help but be interrupted. Then, Ansuan summoned the essence-swallowing dragons to suppress Li Taisui's thunder magic. Su Xing immediately changed his battle strategy. Instead, he used the chaotic tail escape to attack Han Bing. Han Bing was currently engaged in a flying sword duel with Zhao Hanyan. 33 outer heaven black frost swords, and the 72 outer void flying immortals. Swords were both famous ancient sword chants. The two women wielded their sword chants to perfection. Han Bing used her, walking on thin ice, while she bided her time for a chance to attack Zhao Hanyan with terrified to the bone. The Lingyan princess activated the double sword innate skill. The 72 outer void flying immortals' swords became more than 100 beautiful fairies. The sword spirits danced, a wonderful scene. The evil cleanup knife and the yin-yang bracelet occasionally smashed into each other with blinding sparks. Heaven-shaking Thunderling Feishue assisted her master. Without the steadfast star's support, Zhao Hanyan was at a disadvantage. As Han Bing fought, she brought up Zhao Hanyan and the purple thunder monster's peculiar relationship. To think that the magnificent steadfast star would abandon her own contractor. This was unprecedented. Suddenly, Zhao Hanyan finally seemed to be exhausted when Ling Feishue's dark rank Thunderclap fire rain breached her defenses. Han Bing immediately seized her chance. Using walking on thin ice, tapping terrified to the bone against Zhao Hanyan's chest. Your greatest mistake was following the purple thunder monster to the white tiger territory. Powerful energy pierced through Zhao Hanyan's meridians and limbs. Hanbing thought that the Lingyan princess was undoubtedly dead. But before she finished speaking, she heard Ling Feishua's alarmed shout. Hanbing, look out for the monster. Su Xing's figure sneak attacked her from behind. Just as Hanbing was about to respond, she heard Zhao Hanyan smirk. This princess deliberately let you taste a treat, and you are already so conceited? What? Hanbing looked, only to see that the Zhao Hanyan covered in frost had similarly poked a finger into her chest. True Immortal Hall's ultimate technique. True Immortal Finger. Although True Immortal Finger was not as strong as Hanbing's terrified to the bone, it similarly imbued a cultivator's magic energy into one finger, using the cultivator's own powerful cultivation to display the might of the true immortal. Under this finger, Hanbing's organs were overturned. Hanbing! Su Xing rushed over at this time, his eyes ice cold. His hand gripped the dragon sparrow Dulong saber and slashed. Watch my earth rank! Ling Feishu shouted, preparing to attack. But just at this moment, a specter drew near. This figure's attack was perfectly coordinated, catching Ling Feishu off guard. A long, frightening blade hacked over her body. Several slashes later, Ling Feishu basically could not resist any longer and resentfully fell into the star nest. And what killed her was not a person or a ghost, but some sort of grotesque monster. This death was too ugly. Ling Feishu complained. Su Xing. When Ling Feishu fell, Hanbing let out a piercing screech. Her white hair released ice and frost. Every inch of her delicate skin seemed to be made of ice. Her whole body the color of ice and frost. The surrounding snowstorm intensified. She had astonishingly revealed her true body, Snow Woman. Liked it. Hanbing's eyes were as clear as snow. The beauty of her true body as a snow woman was unreal. Seeing that Su Xing's strongest magic weapon was destroyed, and that his flying swords were entangled with Li Taisui, Hanbing felt she had no need to fear the current purple thunder monster. The only thing she worried about was the lurking Lin Chong. But even if Lin Chong was to emerge from the star nest right now, she could not possibly intrude into this battle at this moment. In this star duel, Hanbing saw her greatest hope to get rid of Su Xing. I must get rid of this man. Liangshan continent had a saying. Hope is the greatest greed. Hanbing used walking on thin ice, transforming the surrounding area into a world of endless ice. The Snow Woman's every step froze the surrounding space with a cold that was not inferior to 10,000-year black ice, making most abilities lose their usefulness. Even Su Xing's Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder and Purple Star transforming chi had been frozen by walking on thin ice. Die. A dense cold followed Hanbing's terrified to the bone. Hanbing saw that she was about to kill Su Xing's hope. On the contrary, Li Taisui had a vague premonition. Zijin, quickly go stop the monster. The old man said in a low voice. Hanbing was the star master he favored and appreciated the most, otherwise he would never have given the birth treasure outline to her. The purple thunder monster was very cunning. He absolutely would not impulsively challenge Hanbing's absolute zero. He definitely had a trick up his sleeve. Li Taisui urged on his thunder magic while Yang Zijin drew her saber and teleported. Hey, don't interrupt the love between my man and that woman. The heavily injured Dong Junqing shakily raised her dragon phoenix Yin Yang spear. The steadfast star showed an evil grin as she faced Li Taisui and Yang Zijin. Dong Junqing slashed with her double spears. The spears unleashed a dragon and a phoenix. Under Dong Junqing's attack, the dragon and phoenix flipped and intertwined, showing their full splendor. Sensing this dragon and phoenix's strong killing intent, Li Taisui and Yang Zijin had no choice but to stop and use each of their abilities to ward off the dragon and phoenix. That dragon and phoenix were far beyond an ordinary star general's trump card. This seemed full of beauty. Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill? Li Taisui was stunned. The two of them were contrarily repelled. No mistake. This was none other than Dong Junqing and Zhao Hanyan's Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill top 1 inverted phoenix. A phoenix never dies. The Ghost Cavalry King had ambushed and killed Ling Feishue. Just as he planned to then kill Han Bing, the woman surprisingly revealed her Snow Woman true body. Even he could not easily approach. Seeing that Su Xing would not surrender, he thought to himself, this man's death would free him. Therefore he retreated to the side, once again fading into thin air using his supreme ghost body magic. Su Xing and Han Bing would settle this one-on-one. Stepping into Han Bing's Snow Woman zone, she unleashed her ability at full power, trying to freeze Su Xing, but at this time, a pair of beautiful fire wings suddenly sprouted from Su Xing's back. Those wings were as bright as flame, resplendent and flaming. Surprisingly, her black ice zone was unable to freeze it. Upon careful inspection, how were those wings on Su Xing's back? Clearly, they were 12 hovering flying swords. These flying swords were neither iron nor metal. They were forged from magnificent feathers. As a result of their featherly elegance, at first glance, they were like burning feathers. Their arrangement formed wings. Clinging heaven vermilion Jian feathers? Han Bing was shocked. As the coldest Snow Woman, how could Han Bing be unaware of what fires posed the greatest threat to her? Su Xing surprisingly used this type of ancient divine beast's feathers to forge a flying sword. Han Bing never imagined this. Even in the previous battle, she did not see him summon this kind of flying sword while at a disadvantage facing Li Taisui. If he used the clinging heaven vermilion Jian's clinging fire flying swords against Li Taisui, he would not be so pressed. This man was completely aiming for her. A terrifying and resentful thought crossed Han Bing's mind. Su Xing's ice-cold and resolute eyes proved her guess was correct. The fire element flying swords vermilion Jian was simply the bane of the ice element Han Bing, but if he had given the girl time to prepare, then he would have lost the advantage. Su Xing had waited for this moment to catch her off guard, to quickly kill Han Bing and not give her any chance to escape. Han Bing shouted. The 33 black sky star frost swords flew over. Her chest hurt. Zhao Hanyan's true immortal finger just now was showing its effects, making Han Bing's abilities not as strong as before. This damned couple, the icy woman flew into a rage. Vermilion Jian unfurled at Su Xing's sides like wings, melting all of the Snow Woman's space. Her endless snowstorm, ice and frost basically could not touch Su Xing. Su Xing raised his hand, and the 12 heaven-tearing first intercepted Han Bing's dark frost flying swords. Then, vermilion Jian converged, combining into a long sword. Flames ignited, drawing a long trajectory, easily breaking Han Bing's world of snow. Han Bing had a sense of foreboding. She prepared to escape using the jade pendant, but at that moment she decided to kill Su Xing's hope. She had already lost the chance. This damned man had trapped her. Han Bing could only use her fill power, use her Snow Woman true body, to make a last stand. A senseless death struggle. Vermilion Jian twisted, and the light of clinging fire gracefully dances, destroying Han Bing's protective abilities. Su Xing followed close behind. The dragon sparrow long saber piercing through Han Bing's body. Han Bing grabbed Su Xing's shoulder, her fingernails digging deep into his flesh. The woman's eyes were full of indignation, her snow-like pupils staring fixedly at Su Xing, burning this man's face into her mind. So loathsome. Almost able to feel her breath, Han Bing spat out 2 words from between clenched teeth. The woman's expression was so beautiful. With a closer look, behind her ice-cold mask was a warmth that was out of this world. Even a person made of stone would find it hard to remain unmoved, right? Su Xing stabbed the blade in further, straight until Han Bing was stuck against Su Xing's chest. The girl's killing intent was plummeting, the snow-white brilliance of her eyes dimming before finally extinguishing forever. She struggled indignantly a few moments longer before Han Bing finally slumped against Su Xing's shoulder, her hands powerlessly drooping. Her body turned into snowflakes, scattering like butterflies. A crimson star fell from the sky. Receiving the power of Ling Feishue's crimson star, Su Xing's face did not have any victorious expression at all. He rushed to Zhao Hanyan to inspect her injuries. The Lingyan princess somewhat sorely said that this snow woman's death was too eye-catching. She died in your arms. You have made it so neither she nor this princess won. Su Xing smiled and pecked Zhao Hanyan on the forehead. Zhao Hanyan very wearily curled up tightly in Su Xing's embrace. Though terrified to the bone was dispelled with Han Bing's death, she was still powerless to continue battle, but the battle was not over yet. Dong Junqing finished using her Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow. Su Xing saw that she had trouble and was about to rush over to assist when suddenly, on the other end of Kaifeng, 2 crimson stars fell from the sky. Like the one crimson star from before, that direction surprisingly had 3 crimson stars fall. Add on Han Bing's starfall. This meant that in just a short time, 4 crimson stars had fallen in the vicinity of Kaifeng. This was extremely rare before the 3 heavenly books. The entire Liangshan continent was suddenly shaken. A moment before Su Xing unleashed the Vermilion Jian on Su Yixiao's side of things. Relying on Su Yixiao's incomparably resilient battle sense, the 2 girls were poised for a reversal. They united for an absolute counterattack, utilizing the Heaven-Earth Shears at their highest level. The Heaven-Earth Shears twisted by. Sikong Chuha was about to emotionally rush to and embrace Su Yixiao when yellow light surrounded them, trapping the 2 women. Before Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha could feel surprise, they were immediately pale in the face. Yellow dust rolled, and earth chi scattered. A tall woman suddenly appeared in front of them, but she was not like before. All of Xian Lao's skin seemed as hard as Vajra jade, a translucent yellow, and on Xian Lao's side was a ghastly wound. This was from the Heaven-Earth Shears. Su Yixiao did not dare believe this. Those Heaven-Earth Shears had instantly killed a Super Void middle stage just a moment ago. It was impossible for her to surprisingly still be able to stand like that in front of them. The girl hastily formed hand seals, and the Heaven-Earth Shears proceeded to attack. Intertwining black and white lights twisted over Xian Lao's body, ravaging her, but her skin merely suffered small cuts. She nevertheless did not die. What demonkin is this? Su Yixiao was shocked. Besides her hardened skin, the Xian Lao who revealed her true body was very different from normal. Her clothes fluttered, as beautiful as a heavenly immortal. She did not bat an eye facing the Heaven-Earth Shears, a true stone woman. The Heaven-Earth Shears were not at all useless. Even with Xian Lao's innate powerful defensive power, this kind of weapon that could instantly kill a Super Void cultivator still heavily injured her. Xian Lao beckoned with her hand. Yellow light flew out from her wrist. Any more mention of escape was already futile. The All Things bracelet rose, freezing the Heaven-Earth Shears in place. Then Xian Lao used an inscribed circle of confinement, trapping Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha inside. When the 2 of them wanted to use their jade pendants, Xian Lao's last ability fired from her brow. Above Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha, a heavenly eye opened. The heavenly eye opened, and Su Yixiao and Sikong Chuha immediately fell into a world of serenity. Trichiliocosm, dream of golden millet. Sikong Chuha slowly collapsed, a smile on her face. Her eyes held no anger, and her breath ceased. Chuha. Shan Meng'er painfully wailed, launching a final attack against Xian Lao. Without her contractor's support, although the Sacred Star's spear injured Xian Lao, Peng Fei killed her within seconds. In the end, Su Yixiao seemed to last relatively longer in the dream of golden millet. Her thoughts drifted from the princess who fled the Su kingdom to the tavern at the Vermilion Bird Territory's 5 Colors Mountain. The tavern had a very witty couplet that stumped countless literati of the Vermilion Bird Territory. First line, Green Ping Mountain has timely clouds showing Shixiao. Su Yixiao stopped in her tracks, staring at it with interest for the longest time. Can you counter it? A beautiful voice drifted over. There was an elegant, long-skirted young woman, her face elegant and calm, her eyes carrying a special eagerness. Do you think Yixiao can counter it? Su Yixiao thought and asked back. The girl thought and then nodded. Su Yixiao pondered for a moment, and prepared to write her response in the blank space below. The girl handed her a wolf fur brush. The Su Yixiao who grew up in the Su Kingdom Imperial Court felt this wolf fur brush was far superior to every brush in the world. Taking the wolf brush, Su Yixiao's body relaxed. She wrote freely, her calligraphy beautifully composed. This seems to be a couplet pertaining to the star duels? Su Yixiao panted. The girl wiped her sweat for her. Thanks. The young woman's complexion was still calm. She looked at the couplet Su Yixiao wrote. First line, Green Ping Mountain has timely clouds showing Shixiao. Second line, when cool breeze stronghold reigns, then appears Huarong. Nodding, that calm face showed a slightly hopeful radiance. I am literature star sacred-handed scholar Xiaorang, true name Qingyan. Su Yixiao, a Su Yixiao who wishes to be an innkeeper. The girls smiled at one another. Immediately, this was a smile that showed they had found themselves. That was the first time Su Yixiao and Xiao Qingyan met. This was a promise she would not betray even in death. She had signed a lifelong contract. Su Yixiao finally closed her eyes in satisfaction. In Liangshan continent's west, there was a glistening yellow prairie. This prairie reached above the knee, with golden yellow grasses soft as silk. With the slightest breeze, the prairie would release golden light. Even the dark night would be as brilliant as a blank sheet, a stunning scene. The people of Liangshan continent named the continent's 5 wonders according to the 5 elements: wood element green shoe forest, water element black ice abyss, fire element yellow springs cave, earth element cache mountain, and the metal element was named none other than for this place, Ruler Remonstrating Plain. Ruler Remonstrating Plain grew the good speech golden grass. This grass could be made into medicine, maintaining clarity in mind, separating right from wrong. Over a long period of time, the roots of this grass could even ferment and condense a kind of golden jade called good speech golden jade. The artifacts and magic weapons refined from this jade could be used as protection capable of making a cultivator's thoughts clear and reasonable. But the reason this jade was most famous for was because of the star duels. The absolute majority of star generals would use good speech golden jade to forge star weapon upgrade material. The more a star general upgraded their star weapon, the more rare materials would be needed. Other jades simply were impossible to find, so Star General's 5-star was a threshold. But Ruler Remonstrating Plain was boundless. The good speech golden jade deposits were abundant, and did not need to worry about this problem. Most star generals would use the good speech golden jade as their 5-star, even up to 7-star, material. Oftentimes, when the star generals reached this stage, cultivators would very rarely venture to the Ruler Remonstrating Plains, so as to avoid meeting with a fiend star and provoking senseless disaster. However, although Ruler Remonstrating Plains' good speech golden jade was plentiful, harvesting it was very difficult. The good speech grass and the earth were closely linked together. Ordinary methods were completely unable to excavate it. And because the good speech golden jade could not be so arbitrarily harvested, to obtain good speech golden jade was not a simple task. At this time, there were 3 young girls searching for good speech golden jade at the Ruler Remonstrating Plains. The leader was jade-armed craftsman Jin Xiongyu, riding upon a white jade treasure horse. Its skin was sparkling and clear, its pupils jadeite. Its mane was as bright as a ruby, its tail as wispy as smoke, like Lantian jade. Under the golden light, it released an indistinct luster. At first glance, it was not like a spirit beast, rather, a sculpture carved from every kind of precious stone. Accompanying her were another 2 girls. One was wearing multicolored clothes, shorts, long boots, and a heedless expression, but her conduct was far from that. The other was petite in build, wearing a gorgeous white battle outfit. She appeared tiny, but her expression released a biting cold savage presence which made others unable to help but keep their distance. Their identities were not simple. One was an earthly star 4 heavenly king, Sik Yuchi Sun Yueying, and the other was a heavenly star 5 tiger general, Fiery Thunderbolt Qin Mingyue. With 2 powerful martial generals in the Ruler Remonstrating Plains that star generals often visited, there was no need to worry even if they encountered Strength Star Lu Junyi. So as to give the sisters their star weapon upgrades as the important method to face the Purple Thunder monster in the future, Jin Xiongyu had already stayed more than half a month at the Ruler Remonstrating Plains. She had the dragon carving hammer and the phoenix engraving nail, so her success in finding good speech golden jade was much higher than anyone else's. But she was recently somewhat gloomy. She discovered that a large hole had been excavated in the Ruler Remonstrating Plains. With her perception of jade, she could clearly sense the fine jade this hole contained. Just who could be so obstructive? Even I could not possibly find good speech golden jade so accurately. Jin Qiongyu muttered to herself, her heart increasingly agitated towards that unknown enemy. Probably they have some magic weapon or spirit beast? Sun Yueying shrugged. I heard there is a monkey that is most adept at finding precious stones. In the past, there was a senior that used it to upgrade her star weapon to very high levels. That white treasure monkey, right? But it cannot possibly dig so efficiently. Jin Qiongyu shook her head. Ma Yu tells me this could be an earth spirit beast's work. These traces are surprisingly like hers. Ma Yu was the name of Jin Qionyu's starbest, priceless jade divine colt. It consumed precious stones as food, and was very sensitive of jade. She is. Sun Yueying's brows rose. Beast star Huang Fuduan. As far as Qiongyu knows, she is the best at controlling spirit beasts. If she is controlling this Palsi's demon beast to dig for the jade, that is as easy as flipping her hand. Who cares? If she is an enemy, then Mingyue will crush her. The beast star is extremely weak in martial force, so Qiongyu does not know if she could have lived up until now. Jin Qiongyu was actually very doubtful. Although the 9th star duels had made star generals learn how to last until the 3 heavenly books, the beast star's star weapon was the peculiar 10,000 beast hibernation flute. It could control all of the world's spirit beasts, a so-called coveted item. Just like how jade-armed craftsman's star weapon could carve jade and stone into sand, if she did not have the backing of an elder sister like Qingxi, she would inevitably die encountering a star master. For support and spiritual energy type star generals, danger was always magnified. I hope she still lives. Yueying sighed from her heart. Sick Yuqi did not want to kill her. If a sister had star fallen before they had even met, that was too lamentable. Qin Mingyue suddenly shouted. Got something. Whoosh. The ground suddenly bulged, and then a demon beast burst out. Where are you running? Seeing the demon beast that had excavated the good speech golden jade, Qin Mingyue barked and straddled her fire jade thunder beast, giving chase with the aggression of raging flames. Let us go look and see just who is being a hindrance. Jin Qiongyu patted her priceless jade divine colt. Sun Yueying indifferently followed along. Strange, has all the good speech golden jade been extracted? Wuxin was very depressed. After receiving the white treasure monkey from Shi Yuan, she had originally thought to borrow this spirit monkey to harvest the entire ruler remonstrating plains, but after staying for 5 or 6 days, the good speech golden jade she harvested that could actually be forged into star weapons amounted to a mere few dozen pieces. As she searched, she found there were already numerous holes previously excavated. It was very clear someone else had done the same before. We do not get to take the stage so easily, but to have such a small harvest, how can we return with this to the others? Wuxin looked at the girl beside her. Hunyangzi's pupils were like a great sea hiding grief. She softly said, Elder sister, there is no need to feel guilty. Dear husband will understand elder sister. The 7th Husanyang's star weapon reached 7 star. When the time comes for her to test young lord, we cannot possibly allow these seniors to look down on us. Does elder sister's star weapon not need ascension? Never mind the concealing heaven stars fan. Xinjia is not clear where the 8 gates black gold chains materials are located. That Bagua sand is completely unheard of. The 8 gates black gold chain is elder sister's secret star weapon. Compared to Nyangzi's golden wind and jade dew double sabers, it is far stronger. It is unavoidable that its upgrade process is more difficult. A pity that earth rank is too difficult. Xinjia currently has yet to comprehend it. Wuxin was helpless. This was probably what they meant by win some, lose some. Nyangzi gently said. Nyangzi remembers that Mount Dingjun has a Wuho Bagua tomb. Elder sister, why not let us go there and look? First, Xinjia helps you find enough good speech golden jade for your 6-star upgrade. We are still off 15 pieces for the 64 needed. We have 320 liang of new sand. Another 2 days should be it. Young lord has waited a very long time for us. Wuxin smiled sweetly and looked at Hunyangzi. Nyangzi must miss young lord very much. As Nyangzi should. Hunyangzi said matter-of-factly. Little sister is so outspoken. No wonder young lord loves you so much. Wuxin covered her mouth. Dear husband also loves elder sister very much. Hunyangzi said. Wuxin smiled. Not long after, the white treasure monkey jumped onto Wuxin's shoulder from the ground. Now only 14 left. The knowledge star pointed, and the 8 gates black gold chain manifested. All of a sudden, Hunyangzi quickly drew golden wind and jade dew, spinning around. She coldly glared in a certain direction. Elder sister, other sisters are coming. Wuxin's gaze followed. An imposing and violent flame approached, very quickly arriving above them. That beast snarled, spitting flames. Its whole body was covered in red scales and feathers. Its tail was a fire king snake that flicked its tongue. This beast was ill-tempered, and the little lowly riding on top of it was also not too patient. Mingyue. Wuxin recognized this little girl was surprisingly the thunderbolt of the 5 tigers generals. Mingyue resentfully grit her teeth. That day at the Crystal Dragon Palace, being slain by Lin Yingmei was the greatest humiliation of her life. Treating Wuxin as an enemy on sight, she was equal parts furious and envious. Knowledge star resourceful star Wu Yong. Jin Xiongyu also rushed over. When she saw the white treasure monkey, her expression immediately sunk. So it turns out the one who cleaned out the ruler remonstrating plain's good speech golden jade is you. Humph, elder sister truly took to a lot of trouble. Xinjie actually feels that would be you. If it is jade-armed craftsman, it is not impossible that you would want to excavate all the jade here. Wuxin chuckled. Has that man abandoned you? Jin Qiongyu did not see Su Xing or Lin Chong, and her heart sighed in relief. She gazed at Wuxin and Hunyangzi with a not-so-friendly expression. Without Lin Chong, and with just the knowledge star and bright star, she could completely make them suffer a bit of hardship. Without any indication from Jin Qiongyu, Mingyue already impatiently swung the wolf-tooth fire beacon mace, spurring her fire-feather thunder beast to crush Wuxin. Little sister, watch this. The fire-feather thunder beast worked with her own innate skill Thunderclap Intimidation. Mingyue's swing was very swift and fierce. Little sister has no manners. Wuxin pointed. The 8 gates black gold chain formed a net in midair to catch the club. With a clatter, the 8 gates black gold chain was shattered by the wolf-tooth fire beacon mace. Wuxin hastily withdrew. There was a rumble, shaking Wuxin's balance. A giant hole appeared in the ground. This ruler remonstrating plane was difficult for normal magic weapons to damage, but Mingyue's mace easily broke through. It was obvious how fierce the little lowly was. 4-star destined weapon? Wuxin took a deep breath. Mingyue shouted. The fire-feather thunder beast spat a giant fireball, and she swung the mace to strike. But before she could land the blow, a lasso caught her wrist. Hunyangzi used the These Feelings Are Endless lasso. The little lowly was acclaimed as a 5 tigers general, and Thunderclap Intimidation was formidable. With just a flick of her wrist, she sent Hunyangzi flying. Wisdom Star used light smoke dance steps to delicately land. Mingyue does not want to bully an earthly star little sister. Where is Lin Chong? Mingyue held her 100-gene heavy ornate mace in one hand, baring her teeth. Hunyangzi gripped her sabers tightly. Before she could attack, she was shaken by Mingyue's Thunderclap Intimidation just now, leaving her slightly injured. A 5 tigers general was very formidable, as expected. Mingyue, take them down. The purple thunder monster will naturally come. Jin Xiongyu said. Little sister, watch this. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.